WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincade Show, Philadelphia's longest-running sports talk morning show. On 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
You'll have an opportunity to win a $1,000 gift card today at 8 o'clock to anywhere you want. You'll have plenty of draft talk today. You'll have plenty of 76ers chatter. The Phillies in action tonight. And more. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Our 6 a.m. hour brought to you by our friends at Bradford White Water Heaters. As always, Bradford White is here for the pro as we get started on this Tuesday, April 25th. And Bob, the garage door opened this morning, and I went, damn, it's still cold. You had a beautiful day out on the golf course yesterday where I don't think it was exactly warm for April. But you must have you had a beautiful day for it.
Yeah, great day. Yeah, Jamie and I were questioning each other after about 6 or 7 holes why we wore shorts yesterday. But, yeah, beautiful day on the course. Can't beat it. Nothing better. Philly Cricket Club. Beautiful.
That's about as nice as, that's one of the nicest spots in town.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That is awesome. Good to see it. And as we get started today, Pat, you're in a good mood this morning. You and Coach not going at it this morning.
Not yet.
Not yet? So you're
Only
not making any.
6:01.
You're not making any promises then.
He made a business decision today.
Okay.
Now piss me off.
Well, he starts with a morning mind bender today. And he says, according to a survey on cafemom.com, which Coach spends a lot of time on,
I love those cafe moms.
over 35% of mothers surveyed said they'd be okay with their teenager doing this after the age of 16. What is it?
Working at a Jamba Juice.
That's a good one.
Having sex.
That's a little young. I'll go
35%, though.
I'll go driving.
Coach?
All good answers.
Oh,
Here we go.
Not correct.
None are correct?
It is get a tattoo.
Yeah. I guess so. I don't know.
Who the hell's going to cafemom.com,
At 16, I don't
Like
know.
who?
Why are you ripping cafemom.com?
Pat, cafemom.com, you just blew the endorsement.
It's a quality site.
Pat, you just blew the
I
endorsement.
don't think I did blow the endorsement.
Bob was just starting. Bob, tear
we
up
don't
that
get endorsements.
Cafe Mom read.
Nah.
Of today a little bit later on.
That's all right. 16 tattoo, that's fine. That doesn't bother me.
My thought on tattoos was if you are 18 and you could pay for it yourself, I have nothing to say about it as a parent.
Yeah, our son got one of our sons got a tattoo when he was in college.
I'd have no issue with that. I'm not paying for it.
Yeah, Jenna got a tattoo last year to honor her brother. She got the autism symbol.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, so
I have no problem with it. I see 16's young, Coach, I would say, but 18 we're of the belief that you got to start making your own decisions in life. So, what about you? You all right with Cam wants a tattoo at 16?
He already has one, right?
yeah. He's got Union on his ass.
Already?
No, I would be okay if he did that. Yeah. As a
At
matter of fact,
16, really?
yeah, I'm okay with it. As long as it was...
Not on his face?
Yeah, it wasn't like a Mike Tyson, face tattoo or a neck tattoo or something. I'm actually in the market for a tattoo.
You're in the market?
I'm shocked at this.
Like
I know.
Would you put yourself on a website?
Yeah, what are you looking for?
I'm on many.
Coach, I know what your tattoo should be.
What's that?
A Pez dispenser.
Not going to
Yes.
be a Pez dispenser, no.
What would it be?
Not really sure.
And why would you be in the market for it?
Well, I was talking to Hunter Brody the other day, and of course he's got 17 of them, and I don't know. I'm kind of thinking like a tattoo on my hand.
Like a belly tattoo.
Not a belly tattoo.
Of a possum.
Tramp stamp.
Not a tramp stamp.
Big-
Something on my hand.
Big
But
possum.
what on your hand?
Yeah.
Why on your hand?
Saw a tattoo on a guy's hand probably a month or so ago, and it was these Trinity triangles.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think tattoo removal will be one of the biggest industries in this country in the next 10 years.
Yeah, but that's like Dippin' Dots. Like, I've been hearing that.
The ice cream of the future?
Yeah, I've been hearing it's the ice cream of the future for like 30 years.
Well, tattoo removal is a huge industry. It's growing every year. It's like it's going by like 5 or 10 times what it was the year before already.
I'm gonna need the statistics on that.
Can,
like, I need you to no. Don't tell me to Google it. I'm gonna need
I'm gonna need you to. Yes, you can Google it.
You don't tell me to Google. You just threw that stat out there. I'm gonna need the back. I'm asking for the fact sheet.
You can go and you can invest in it. I'm gonna give you a company you can invest in.
I'm all right.
No, I want you to invest in it. I want you to put it. I want you to
invest in your company.
No, it's not my company, but it's a company that is. Hey,
it's called Enron.
Pat, years before the weed stocks became like wildly popular for people to invest in, Ted Jenkins had me investing in weed stocks. So I will just tell you, it's out there. It's out there.
Ted Jenkins got lucky.
Ted's pretty good. He's good. Hey, your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Good news for Joel Embiid. It appears to be very good news, as Shams puts it out there yesterday that the Phillies, Eagles and Phillies, the Sixers see this as a 1-week injury. Bob, so I tried to just sort of put that around yesterday. I've never heard of that before, where someone says it's a 1-week injury. So I was a little confused by Dr. Shams on this one. Obviously, Boston, and if Boston advances tonight, the Sixers series will open on Saturday, and they will play Saturday and Monday in Boston. A 1-week injury. The injury happened on Thursday night of last week. So I guess everything's good. 1-week injury.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of a 1-week injury before.
Yeah, a lot of times with injuries with the Sixers, you never heard of things before. You know,
that's what I was waiting for.
I never heard of gastroenteritis in my years covering sports ever until I started covering the Sixers, and then it was a weekly thing.
Yes.
I would hit GAS on my computer, on my laptop, and it would automatically pop up, gastroenteritis. Yeah, it's kind of convenient. A week injury.
1-week injury. I've never heard of it.
And they open a week after he gets injured. So, the big thing is, usually with these type of injuries and all, is that they'll want a player to get on the court and practice at least once before a game goes. Sixers, they got together yesterday, but I think it was just a film session. It wouldn't surprise me if they worked out today, maybe and/or tomorrow. We'll see if he gets on the floor at all. I'd be a little surprised if they just threw him out on the floor without him getting out into practice with the team before then. But stranger things have happened. It's Joel Embiid. It's an injury. It's the 76ers. It's all up in the air. But like I said before, when that ball's tossed up, game 1 against Boston, I'm pretty certain number 21 is going to be out there.
So that's good news, Pat. We got good news on that. A 1-week injury, though, still very strange.
Yeah, I agree. But if you really think about it, the 1 week would be up Thursday.
Yeah, so I'm saying. So they're fine. So he's fine for game 1, yes.
He's fine. Yeah, I don't think a lot of Sixers fans were sweating this one out. It just seemed like, okay, you're up 3-0 in the series. You can probably win this series without him. Let's get the guy some rest, get himself ready for Boston. I didn't honestly. If you're up 3-0, I didn't really want to see him out there. I was surprised when I saw that he was out, but after thinking about it, I went, all right, like you're not gonna have Nick Claxton taking shots in a series that Nick Claxton knows he's not winning. So I was all right with that.
Yeah. So there is that is where we are at today. This is good news. This is really good news, and that's what we should be. We should be happy about it. And Bob, you read it exactly right. Because if Shams...
Well, not yet. He hasn't gotten out there yet.
Yeah, but the way that I would take it is I don't find where, especially as far as injuries, where Shams and Woj get it really wrong. I've seen neither one of them get it really, really wrong.
Yeah, Ramona Shelbourne came out with something yesterday. Did you guys... I heard this quickly when I was driving. She said that he has a sprained ligament in there. The LCL ligament, I believe is what. Did you guys hear that at all?
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
And I like Ramona.
Oh, yeah.
So I think she does good work.
Yeah. But yeah, shams and everything that I'm reading in the Inquirer and all that stuff.
1 week.
Yep. That's what it looks like.
There you go. 1 week injury. So we got some good news there. Jalen Hurts signs his official deal. He spoke to the media, and he talked about that where this sets up the franchise for the future now under his new contract.
There's something like that.
There is something like that, I'm sure. He talks about something along those lines.
Why were you willing to take a longer contract that wasn't fully guaranteed?
Well, obviously, I think you look at all the great teams around there, and I won't get too much into detail, but you look at all the great teams and great players. It takes a village. I know that last year, in my first 3 years, but just playing around the different guys that I've been able to play around, we got something special going on. We all want to do it for a long time. So it was important to me to take that approach with it.
I love that answer. I love the answer, and I believe him. More importantly, I believe him.
Yeah, he's one of us. Like, he's just a normal, I want to win kind of dude. Money's great.
I'm
Other
going to
things
be
are better.
rich. I'm going to be rich either way. Is the way I look at that.
Yeah. Dude wants to play football. Dude wants to win football. He wants to win for his teammates. He wants his teammates there for him. I rarely, if ever, have questioned anything that Jalen Hurts says behind a microphone.
He is absolutely awesome. Now, he barely has a pulse behind a microphone, but that's him. He's just not going to I absolutely know that somewhere Nick Saban's smiling and very proud of him. And I know the coach reached out to him about his big contract, probably looking as an Alabama alum for that big, maybe the Jalen Hurts weight room edition or something like that coming in. But he's got to be proud of him because he says nothing behind a mic. But I believe that answer big time. He just wants to be part of a long-term winning team.
Yeah.
And if it means taking $10 million less, if it means taking $15 million less over the long term, he's fine with it.
Money's great.
Yes.
Championships are better.
Winning's a little bit better. I need Connor to come around into the studio because all through the course of the day today, and it shows you what kind of great people we have here on the John Kincaid Show. Connor and Coach and Pat and Bob have all agreed to take part in questioning that NFL draft picks are asked as part of cognitive testing and testing to see whether they are going to be solid NFL players. I will tell you that I looked into it last night, and I was like, oh, let's just let's see here if we can find a way to maybe bring some of this into the show today. So, Connor, are you ready to show some of your cognitive ability?
I just have a quick question for you. Did we draw straws or something? How is this order determined?
I wanted you first. Guess what? You're not going to have a problem.
Okay.
If you have a problem, I'm going to be shocked.
Okay. We'll
Honestly,
see.
I'm going to be shocked.
It's a little early.
Okay.
I haven't had my coffee yet.
Of the following dates, which is the latest? June 30th, 2054, April 2nd, 2054, June 2nd, 2055, or January 6th, 2055?
June 2055. Third option.
That is correct. And that was a question that was missed by 13% of the draftees in 2019.
Well, there we go. I'm already up to the 6th round. Let's go.
I mean, that to me is just really that to me is
maybe.
That to me is really crazy. The group was anxiously awaiting the opening of their new building. Is that anxiously the antonym of anxiously? Is eagerly, excitedly, sadly, or uneager?
Uneager.
The uneager is Connor's answer. You're a smart kid, Connor.
Thank you.
How about what is the missing number in the following sequence? 78, 66, blank, 42, 30. 78, 66, blank, 42, 30. I think you got it.
I'm only good with numbers visually, so I
It's hard? Is that got you? Really? Bob, you got it, right? I think Bob got it wrote down.
Oh, you got it written down?
Bob, did you wrote down the numbers?
I did.
78, 66, blank.
Yeah, 54.
That is correct.
Yeah. Took me a second.
That is correct. By the way, that was missed by 40% of the draftees. That's incredible.
Numbers
to me.
are hard.
That's
John.
incredible.
I'm not
to
good
me.
with the numbers.
A
That took me
company
second.
sold 48 products in June,
Okay.
20 in July, 76 in August, and 80 in September. Okay? So they sold 48, 20, 76, and 80. Okay? Tell me which one reflects their sales. I'm holding it up for Connor.
It's the first one.
That is correct. That was missed by 72%
What?
of the draftees.
Who are these people?
72% of the draftees missed that question. I was absolutely floored. All right, last one. A college professor teaches a class of 80 students. 14 of them are business majors, and 6 are education majors. Okay? So 80 students.
Yeah.
14 are business, 6 are education. The rest are undecided. What percentage of the class is undecided?
So 60 of 80, which would be not good with the percentages either, John. What is that, like 75%?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Connor, you just rolled through it there perfectly.
Cool.
By the way, the average draftee in 2019 missed 2.5 questions that you just rattled through.
There we go. Oxford
Darn it.
University, ladies and gentlemen.
Attaboy.
What was that?
Oxford
Is
University.
Oxford Division III?
Well,
I didn't realize
went
that.
to both.
No, you
I did.
you took a class.
It
There's
took
summer
a
abroad.
month long, a semester, a summer semester. Anyway, I'll let you get back
if you're
to it.
in the car right now, good job, Connor.
Thanks, guys.
And I said, that's why I knew throwing it at you early.
Yeah.
By the way, I went with an earlier one, but I was shocked at the amount. That graph question,
That's super easy. I don't know what
that's
people are-
incredible.
Yeah.
Unless players don't care.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be part of it?
Yeah.
Why would you want to
The
take
guy's sitting there going, I just ran a 4.340, and they're going to ask me about a stock market question.
Well, that's as important as whether or not you know it, is whether or not you
There you
care.
go.
But it could be a positive. The Jim Craig from Miracle, Pat's movie. I want the guy in net who didn't take the test.
Is this because I didn't take your test?
Exactly.
I'll take your test, huh?
Hey, coming up, the Phillies try to get back to 500. Didn't look that way a couple of weeks ago. We'll get to it next. John Kincaid Show here on 97.
Philadelphia.
It's the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. It's draft week. Your Eagles are, well, what are we talking about now? 60 hours and some away from the start of the draft. Their opportunity to bolster this roster. You heard yesterday when Jalen Hurts took to the podium the idea that he believes that there's a long opportunity for this team to be successful. Plenty of opportunity for this team to win over the long term. And that was a really comforting thing to hear yesterday from your starting quarterback. Very, very good. The kind of things you want to hear. I want to be here.
I would assume he's pretty happy with $79 million in his pocket.
Yeah, 79 is a big difference there. Though.
I don't expect him to get up there and be like, yeah, we stink. I'm not real happy. I wanted 180. He's got a nice green suit. He's ready to rock and roll.
He's sharp.
He's happy.
He is sharp. By the way, Tony, one of our fine listeners, DMs me and goes, "Boy, you give Connor all the softball questions. I guarantee you're going to throw Egan every fastball you can." I just gave you questions. I'm giving you questions that were missed today. 2017, 2018, and 2019 by draftees that took the test.
So Tony, just know that
he says that I'm going to set you up. That he goes, I already know the bit.
There's no bit. I didn't do good on my SATs. I didn't do well. There you go. There's a prime example.
Well, that's part of the reason.
So, yeah, you could throw me a softball, curveball, fastball, volleyball. I'm probably going to miss it.
I do not believe, Pat.
I'm not good at this sort of thing.
Pat, how about this? I do not believe you will.
All right, well, fine. We'll bet on that.
We will. By the way, since I'm not allowed to do it on the air, I sent you the.
I saw.
So if you have any little spare cash, Pat, invest.
I'm not have
do it
John
now.
Kincade money to throw around. All right, I got to save up for my new tattoo.
There you go. What tattoo you gonna get?
I'm gonna get no regrets.
No regrets
on my neck.
On your neck too.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the neck tattoo. But yes, I didn't. I got in trouble for that once, Pat, in Atlanta, for giving out a stock on the air.
Really?
Yes.
That's surprising.
Actually got a letter of saying, do not do that. You are not to do that from the legal department.
Okay.
So that's why I texted you the 4-digit code. Please invest, though, for your. I'm thinking of Jack.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Jack.
Yeah.
That Jack's going to be rich because of it.
That's what I call my 401k, Jack.
There you go. The Phillies trying to get back to 500 before one of the most challenging road trips of the season that they're going to face. So they get Seattle for 3 games before they head to Houston for a World Series rematch this weekend, which is pretty exciting, and then the Dodgers. First of all, the Phillies have had some crappy early travel. Like Texas, then jumping to Texas, then going to the Yankees is a weird trip.
Texas is 14-7. They're playing some pretty good baseball.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about the team you're even playing. I'm talking about the travel. Like, you would think they try to make your travel a little more convenient. Texas to New York is not a great one. And then, to me, you're then going to go Houston to Los Angeles. I don't think is a great one either. I don't think they're being any favors early on to your National League champions.
Well, you're on your way out west. They just have a little stopover, I guess, down southwest and do that and then go over. I don't know. I hated the beginning of the season. That was tough. They're playing good baseball. This is a fun time. I think we're gonna have a good little stretch here of watching these Philadelphia Phillies play that thing they call baseball.
Now it's not hitting season yet, and in fact, for the next 10 days or so, good. I guess it's good they're getting out of town because for the next 3 days, it's not going to be typical late April weather. Below average temperatures, and then it's going to be below average all next week, but they'll be out of town. They're going to miss some of this, not cold snap, but it's going to be a little bit better. So hitting season, you're going to be in a nice dome in Houston, or they'll have the roof open, and it'll be warm enough, and then go to Los Angeles. So maybe hitting season, maybe this is part of the benefit.
Might be.
Charlie Manuel would say.
Yeah, I I think any season for this team is hitting season. I think they're that good. I really love the bats in this lineup. Yes, have some guys started awfully hot and probably won't maintain it, of course. But all in all, in general, I really like this team as a bunch of hitters. I think they're fun. I think once Bryce Harper gets there, it's going to be a piece to a puzzle that's pretty much already solved anyway. So it's only going to get better. And you were talking about it with Connor earlier. It might not be too far off that Bryce Harper's coming back.
No, I mean, it's what you're hearing about this team right now. It looks like Bryce Harper, Pat, could be back. They're talking about Cinco de Mayo, that he could be back.
It's the 5th of May.
Yes, it is. I mean,
I guess so he won't be coming in for our open house.
No, he will not be.
Okay.
But I mean,
Buzzkill.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. He's a modern medical miracle.
I just
nobody comes back. I think Bob, you had it. One guy came back early, or maybe Jamie had it.
Jamie had it, yeah.
And then we looked him up, and we were like, he was so good, we forgot who it was. But yeah, nobody really comes back this early from this kind of injury, and to add him to a lineup like this would, even if he struggles, just having him in there, having the pitcher have to deal with thinking about pitching to Bryce Harper, I think it benefits everybody.
I mean, to me, it really is something that I'm absolutely floored by, and I think it's fantastic. And it speaks to Harper. It speaks to his dedication and everything like that. There is one thing about the Phillies, though, that I would like to see sort of be improved a little bit. And it's not terrible. They're middle of the pack right now in baseball. Stolen bases. I expected the bigger bases, the base running rules, that the Phillies were going to be a little more aggressive trying to steal bases. Not trying to take the extra base, but just steal bases.
I could hear you bitching on Sunday when they got picked off of first. Who was it? Somebody got picked off first. Edmundo Sosa, I
getting
believe.
picked off, yes.
Yeah.
Well, he double clutched.
He doubled.
He slipped.
He slipped. I mean, that's fine.
I
like stolen bases.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised also. I thought they'd have more. Trey Turner, I thought, would get running. Give me some Marsh. Give me some Stott. Yeah, get those legs moving. But a lot of them are hitting doubles and stuff like that, so they're already on second. So they don't need to get the extra stolen base. Yeah, but that is something I think will come around a little bit more.
There are 5 teams who are averaging a stolen base a game in Major League Baseball. Cleveland, Chicago Cubs, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and the Yankees. So they're all pretty aggressive on the base paths. Oh, our buddy Mike and Delran's up early this morning. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
Hey, do you guys have an open house on May 5th?
Yes, we do.
That happens to be my birthday. I might have to come stop by.
I think that would be great. I think it can be arranged.
All right, cool. I like that.
We could do that.
So here's my thing. Like, just because he can't, doesn't this seem way too early? I mean, like, it was just a couple months ago they were talking about All-Star break maybe, and now it's May 5th. He could be batting. I don't know. For our superstar player, for a guy who pays so much money, who's been often injured the last couple of years, it just sounds ridiculous.
But But Mike, even though I tend to agree with you on this, are you neither of us are doctors and have looked at his case.
No, I agree.
You know what
agree.
I mean?
I agree. I just hope it's not like out of desperation, like they think he's got to come back that early, because I don't want to see him get hurt again. See you guys on the 5th. Go Bears.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's good stuff.
Could what Mike was saying transfer to another athlete in town? I don't want him to rush back too much because I don't want him to get hurt even more. So maybe they should just wait and be careful with it. A sprained knee usually takes a couple of weeks to months to really heal. Oh, no,
it's a 1 week. Bob, this is a 1 week sprained knee.
I just read a story. It said usually it takes, a couple of weeks to months to heal. But, of course, this is a professional athlete, and that's just a normal person. So who knows?
Bob, it's 1 week.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a 1 week sprained knee,
so
which
the
is
knee
very,
said,
very different.
I will be all better in 1 week.
Hey, in Cooney's Corner, just do this, Eagles.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's Corner.
Well, it's funny. You know how when you kind of have something in your head or a thought that you want somebody to do something, a team to do something, and then all you hear is stuff to back you up. You don't listen to the other people that make sense. and tell you, no, that's not right. They really need to do this. Well, that's the case with me. I went on the Bijan Robinson thing. I said that I would love it if they moved back in the first round, got some more picks. If they're at like 16, 17, something like that, and they took Bijan Robinson, it would be the ultimate scenario. So, of course, since then, I haven't listened to anyone else that said the smartest things about getting an edge rusher or getting some kind of an offensive tackle, yes, or anything like that, or a safety or a corner. No, I'm all offense. And I have heard it more and more leading up to the draft. And narratives change all the time when it comes to draft, as we all know. But I have heard an awful lot lately of, yeah, why not just make this offense the best it can be in the league and just outscore everybody? You can fill holes on the defense. Just make this offense elite. So, and part of it was yesterday I was talking to Jamie Lynch, and now he's all for trading back a little bit and getting the Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yes.
Yeah, he's all about Ohio State wide receiver. He wants him. Put him in the slot.
He's been saying
this
that for a
offense
while.
is elite.
Yeah.
I tell you, I don't. Again, what I've been saying is I don't see how anything can go wrong with what the Eagles do. Move back a little bit, stay where they are. I don't want them necessarily to trade up, but if they do, it means they're getting the guy that they really want. And you can't really go against that. But if the mantra or if the feeling of Howie is, yeah, all in for the offense early, are you guys all right with that?
I'm absolutely all right with it. I really am. I would be fine with watching a team every week that went out there and just trucked teams. I would have no problem with that.
Something to be. And look, the most recent model out there is the Kansas City Chiefs, and they constantly rely on trying to get things around Patrick Mahomes, and they drafted and put young defensive secondary back there, and they still wound up winning a Super Bowl.
They did, because they said, we're going to score 35 a game.
Yeah.
And we're going to give up less than 35 a game.
Pat, you okay? Howie comes out and says, you know what? First couple of rounds or first couple of picks, we're looking to just go all offense to make this a world beater.
First couple, no. First pick, sure. You have no depth whatsoever at the defensive end spot.
Yeah.
You have no depth in the linebacker spot.
Uh-huh.
You have no depth in the cornerback spot. So, yeah, I'm going to need some defense eventually, Bob.
Sure.
You're going to need to address it.
No question.
Oh, no, you're questioning it.
No. I said it. You can get defensive plug-ins, sure.
You sat here and questioned it.
No sweat.
And now you're telling me there's no question.
All I heard from you was, yeah. And that was agreement with me about going offense.
Yeah. Yeah, first pick, I'm okay.
All right. Yeah, I think it's really interesting.
I'm telling you, I will jump off the couch. There will be a yell that my neighbors will hear if they go bold and beautiful and go very aggressive with I'd love a trade back and then draft Bijan Robinson. I would be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah,
it would absolutely make my night.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I would love it.
Or they slide back a little bit and say they do go with Smith and Jigba and get him, and then I don't know. You stay at 30 and you take one of the good tight ends that's still there. I would be laughing out loud. I'd be laughing straight into work the next day, Pat.
They could take that Kincade kid, one of the top tight ends in the draft.
No,
he spells it wrong.
I just hear that name and I don't like it.
He spells it wrong.
No, you know where he's labeled to go a lot, John, is Dallas.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I can't believe Dallas is going to end up with a Kincade.
Well, they let Schultz go, right?
Yes.
So
they're going to draft early.
The kid Mayer from Notre Dame is nice, tight end.
I do not want Bijan at 10, but I'll take Bijan at 15, 16.
That would be the ultimate to me,
you're picking up like a second-round pick for that.
Yeah.
You did the math
and
yesterday.
And then at 30, you can do whatever the hell you want.
I'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely be thrilled.
It's going to be fun.
Pat's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Our happy hour is going to be fun tonight.
Yeah. That will be a good time. That's always a good time.
4 to 6 today, though, an earlier happy hour. 4 to 6 today out at the PJs in Medford Lakes today. So come on by and see us.
I just texted Rock a little bit ago. He said he's in. I said, okay, good. That's a happier hour now.
It's an even happier I asked you this morning if Rock was going to be there.
Yep. Connor's all pumped up today. He can't wait to get out there because he had an off day yesterday, so he's ready to rock and roll.
He's ready to go.
Yeah, we're going to have fun out there.
Tom in Alabama joins us. Tom, what's going on, brother?
Good morning, guys. Great show.
Thanks, man.
Hey, you mentioned yesterday that you've seen Hurts from the beginning as a junior here in Alabama, and just as I have. And they just paid him a boatload of money. Now, this guy I was really out on all the way through till now, and he's comfortable. Why would you want to pick a running back at 10? Because if it was me...
I don't want him at 10. I don't want him at 10.
Why would you even want him, period? Because he's going to think he's going to be the vocal point of the offense. Hurts is going to play reckless, whatever kind of way he's going to play. It could blow up like this. Why try to fix something that isn't broken?
No, you're not fixing it. You're adding to it,
You're
Tom.
adding to it. You're bringing in a quality back. You had a quality back last year who ran for what?
1,300 yards.
1,300 yards. You're bringing in a quality back who, by the way, is better than the guy you got rid of. That just helps Jalen Hurts, and it helps this passing game. I mean, I don't understand that attitude.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Tom was talking. Love you, Tom. But
love you, Tom. But do not understand that. All right, Pat. I'm not setting you up. You ready?
I mean, I guess.
Come on, you're going to be fine. Pick the state that's on the West Coast. Oregon, Texas, Florida, or Maine?
Oregon.
Very good. That was missed by 20% of the players in 2018. On Tuesday and Wednesday, cab fare costs $7.75. Okay, Tuesday and Wednesday, $7.75. On Monday and Thursday, cab fare costs $6.30 on each day. On Friday, cab fare costs $7. What was the average daily cost?
Oh, I'm gonna have to write that down. What do we got here?
$7.75 on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Can I use my calculator?
Yes, sure.
Oh, okay.
Monday and Thursday, cab fare costs $6.30. And on Friday, cab fare costs $7. What was the average daily cost? And you are allowed to use your phone calculator.
$7.20.
You're going $7.20?
Yeah.
I think the answer was $7.10.
Okay, I was wrong.
Okay, but it's all right, though.
Sorry.
Choose the word that doesn't belong. Pool, lake, ocean, river.
Pool.
That is correct. That was missed by 7% of the respondees. I don't understand it.
Well, those freshwater pools.
Man, I mean, that makes no sense. That makes no sense to me. What is the next number in this sequence? 41, 29, 35, 23. 41, 29, 35, 23.
It would be 29.
That is correct. Good job, Pat. See, it's not. The hours of darkness in May are most similar to which month? July, October, February, or November?
June, July,
May.
September, October, December. What'd you say?
The hours of darkness in May are most similar to which month?
I'll go November.
It's correct. Pat, see? I didn't set up. See? Just to there to Tony. I did not set up Pat.
Shout out to Bing.com.
By the way, that was missed by 63% of the draftees.
I wonder how many of them said October.
They said October.
Yeah. Imagine.
They said October. So just a.
See, if you said October, that's not a red flag.
That's not a red flag.
If you're saying what, April?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to me. There is a lot of questions. I have some questions that I'm going to spring on Bob that are, I can't believe were missed by greater than 1/3 of the respondees.
So Connor said to me during the break, if I got a 100 on the Wonderlic test, do you think an NFL team would spend a 7th-round pick on me?
No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
and I don't think he'd ever get a perfect score in the Wonderlic test.
Yeah, neither do I.
So,
no, probably not.
But it's and the only problem with it is it's timed. I think that's what it is. It's timed.
You think you have more time than you do.
Correct. It runs fast, and
so does Pat.
Do that. So, all right, coming up, Pat loved something that Doc Rivers did the other night. Will he do it in the next round? John Kincaid Show here on 97.5.
Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hopefully you'll be a little smarter this morning.
Oh, let's air out our dirty laundry.
What's the dirty laundry?
Already?
Yeah.
6:50?
What's the dirty laundry?
Yeah, we have to go back to the one of the questions that you asked Pat.
Okay.
Now, maybe I don't get it. I'm not thinking logically today. Can you go back to the number of daylight hours question in May is similar to the other one?
Oh, okay. Let me
ask
go.
that question again? Because
I
now
gotta
I'm
go
very
back,
confused.
I got to go back to I have to actually run it through. So give me a minute or two.
Play a song, Pat.
I have to run it through to the end of the test.
So the question, I believe, was which month is
corresponds
similar to the number of hours of daylight.
Correct.
To May.
To May. So are you talking about the sun goes down at 8:30
The most daylight hours.
The sun goes down at 4 o'clock or 4:30 in November. So
Yeah,
how is it that those 2 months are similar in the number of daylight hours? It's not even close. You're talking hours apart.
Okay, let me go. I'm gonna have to run it through to the end to keep answering questions just to get to the end.
Do you understand my logic?
No, I understand your logic, and it makes total sense.
While you find the answer to this, I just want you and the listeners to know this was my break.
What do you mean?
We get 5-6 minutes. We go
This
to
was
break.
your break? That people were doing
get
it?
to wander around, maybe throw a ball at a coworker.
Okay, wait a minute.
I got to hear for 5 minutes
About it.
Yeah,
Coach break down this logic.
No, Coach.
It broke my brain.
Hold on, I got 48. I'm just keeping answering questions incorrectly because this one's making me go through 50 questions. So hold on.
If you're talking about...
Hold on.
Coach, John, we're
no big
trying
deal.
to delay for you. Stop saying hold on.
No,
We're
I'm
trying.
done. I'm done, so I don't need you to do it anymore.
Welcome to Radio 101.
That's why I'm
first day.
trying to stop interrupting because I'm trying to give you the answer. You are correct, by the way. I read it wrong. It's October. It's October, Coachy. So I read it wrong.
See what happens during breaks, Pat?
See, I read it wrong.
Logic prevails.
I had to hit 50 questions though to get to the answer key. I had read it wrong.
Did you read it wrong though?
There it was. My error.
What happened?
My error.
How?
Because you have 50 questions, you don't get the answer key.
But how did you mess this up?
Because when I pushed the answer, I read the wrong color.
You read it wrong.
Yes, that is
Glad
correct.
We got to the bottom of that.
BetParks is the official local casino partner of your Philadelphia 76ers. You got to be 21 in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I tell you, I can't understand how somebody gets wrong questions like
the one that we just got wrong? You can understand people
Is
get the questions wrong that we got
Oregon
wrong.
on the West Coast?
Say that.
Is Oregon on the West Coast?
Yeah.
Florida? Maine? Are you kidding me?
Some people aren't geographically.
Oh, come on. Now, that's a dumb one.
Jared Goff didn't know that the sun rose in the east and set in the west.
Yeah,
That might mess me up.
See, I could see somebody getting messed up by that one.
If pressed.
Yeah, really, I could.
Wow.
I know.
really
I
could.
know the West and the East, but
I could see that being.
I mean, to me, the crazy part for me, Bobby, is the sun rises, and then it just sets.
I'm okay. Now I'm more confused.
I am where I am, but it goes up and it goes down, and I'm on the East Coast. So for me, it rises in the east and it sets in the east
Because you're on the east.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay.
610-632. 0975.
I'm a little.
You're a little perplexed.
The
by
sun
that
rose
one, too.
today at 6:17 a.m. and it'll set at 7:57 p.m.
I found that the Wonderlic test was much easier than the IQ test. The IQ test then was on the same testing service. The IQ test was all about shapes and stuff. Had me completely confused. I don't know about you.
Like a hexagon.
Yeah, like seeing which shape fits this sequence.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am absolutely lost on that one.
Yeah, that stuff I'm out. If you need me for Quizzo, I'll probably be pretty good at that. But
at that point,
Wonderlic test stuff, and as we just found out with that,
are you
testing now?
Well, if If you need a new cooling system, though, Pat, what
There
you
you
need
go.
to do, a new cooling and heating system from WM Henderson Cooling, Heating, Plumbing, and featuring Farron Electric will give you up years of comfort and energy savings backed by an up to 10-year warranty. Book at hendersoneasybook.com.
Good job there. Bobby, you ready?
Sure.
A pack of paper costs $1.97. How much will 4 packs cost?
7 is 28, 2, 9, 18, 27, 36, 38, 3, 4, 1, 788.
Okay, that is correct. 788. Around 22% of respondents missed that one. The 6th month of the year is July, March, June, April.
June.
That is correct. 4% missed that one. That's not too bad. A sunglasses store bought $5,000 worth of sunglasses. The store made $9,000, making a profit of $20 per pair of sunglasses. How many sunglasses were involved? So
they $5,000 worth
of
they
sunglasses.
Made $9,000.
Correct.
At well, how much?
A $20 per pair of sunglasses. This is brutal. Now, this one would start to, Pat, give me anxiety just because of the amount of time that I would take solving it. Like, that's
so
why
say the question again. Let me just make sure.
A sunglasses store bought $5,000 worth of sunglasses.
Right.
The store made $9,000.
Okay.
Making a profit of $20 per pair of sunglasses. How many pairs of sunglasses were involved? It's easy.
I don't know if you have enough information. I'll go 450.
I don't think, Coach, do you have an answer on this one?
Jeez, no.
I think there's shadows and stuff here.
Can I get this one more time?
Okay.
Wait, how many did they say? How much were each pair
Yes,
of sunglasses
a
cost?
sunglasses store.
In month did they sell them?
This is a brutal question. Sunglasses store bought $5,000 worth of sunglasses. The store made $9,000, making a profit of $20 per pair of sunglasses. How many pairs of sunglasses were involved? It's brutal.
2,800.
No. It's not.
I don't know.
Okay. How about an easy one?
Well, what's the answer to that one?
I'll come back to it. Which in the following group of numbers is smallest? 5, 8, 13, 0.6, or 0.33?
What's is the smallest?
Smallest.
0.33.
Okay. Good job, Bobby. 30% of the tables in John's restaurant
Has to be John's restaurant.
are reserved. He has 120 tables.
Well, he's not doing so well, Bobby.
30% are reserved.
So what's your
how many,
question?
how many tables are available?
12,
120.
70%.
36.
That is correct, Bobby. How about which 3 of the following words have similar meanings? Hazy, humid, barren, arid, foggy. Which 3 of the following words have similar meanings? Hazy, humid, barren, arid, foggy.
I'll say, I think the obvious is hazy, humid, and foggy.
That is correct.
Okay.
Good job. Bobby running through those. You see, it's 200 pairs of sunglasses, Bob.
Yeah, what did I said 450.
It's 200 pairs.
Oh, look.
That is terrible. Oh, there you go. So Bob did have it. Love it. All right, Pat Egan loved something that Doc Rivers did in Game 4. What did he do? Let's go next.
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, guys. What I loved was he didn't, and he just let the guys play basketball.
Or months.
There wasn't any questions about daylight savings time, months, John's restaurant, none of that. No, what I liked was when the news came out on Friday night that Joel Embiid was injured, my first thought was, all right, we get to see the real MVP, the G League MVP, B-Ball Paul.
Yeah, man.
And then I had a dark thought of, oh, God, he's not going to start B-Ball Paul. He's going to start Dwayne Dedman. And he didn't. He started B-Ball Paul. And that is a change in Doc that I think last year's Doc Rivers would have started Dwayne Dedman, would have started Montrezl Harrell. would have started the veteran instead of starting the rookie. And this year's Doc Rivers throws out the spark plug of B-Ball Paul and is rewarded for it because he played pretty well. But I love the fact that he started B-Ball Paul. You're up 3-0. If you lose the game, it's not the end of the world. You come back home, you clinch it at home. But I was really, really concerned with the fact he was just going to go out there and start a guy that really hadn't played many minutes at all since coming over from Miami. But he didn't. He trusted a younger player, which I think has been a gripe that I and a lot of other fans have had with Doc Rivers during his tenure of not trusting some younger pieces to develop these guys. But the confidence that he just showed B-Ball Paul, I mean, I think Paul Reed's probably going to go to the second round right now, and he's probably flying high. He's probably feeling himself a little bit because Doc Rivers has shown him a lot of confidence. And this is a year after, Bob, you said it, like people were clapping when he got a play right. So I got to applaud Doc Rivers because he surprised me a little bit by this move.
I was surprised in this way. I thought they were going to start either Dedmon or Montrezl Harrell because B-Ball Paul is that energy guy off the bench, is that guy that goes for 13, 15 minutes, brings you energy. Now you're asking him to change. B-Ball Paul can get in foul trouble really easily. He is not very good at staying away from foul trouble. So I thought instead of changing two roles, all right, B-Ball Paul's a starter. Now one of the other two guys that I mentioned is a backup. I thought they would only change one, and I thought he would plug and play the guys that I said. I'm with you on this, Pat. Good move by him. It gave them the energy they needed. He gave them the defensive presence they needed. Absolutely right. For all the downs that people say about Doc Rivers, you got to give him the kudos here again.
It's a situation, too, where it's a short-term look, but it's also a long-term look because Dwayne Dedmon and Montrezl Harrell aren't going to be here next year.
Yeah.
B-Ball Paul's going to be here next year. So you're showing a lot of faith in a kid that you also are going to have to rely on the following season. So I like that move also for that aspect of it because I think in the past he's relied on some of these veterans. It's like, dude, he's probably 3 weeks away from never stepping foot in Philadelphia again. And that drove me nuts with Doc before, but he's changed his ways, it seems like.
He is. He's growing. He's evolving.
Yeah, he's an old dog who's learned some new tricks.
And I like that.
I am surprised at how people talk to B-Ball Paul.
What do you mean talk to him?
If you really watch it, it's amazing how many guys try to go up and give him advice. So before the game, I told you they were gathering but in the bowels of the arena, about to go out on the floor, and you hear James Harden say it over and over and over again, right to B-Ball Paul. Take advantage of the situation. Take advantage of the situation. Right to him, like telling him. Then they go out on the floor, and you see Doc Rivers, as much as he's always on Tyrese Maxey, he's on B-Ball Paul more. And then you watch, I noticed Tobias Harris cutting through the lane, went right to him. It's like, listen, you need to do this. And as they have the offense going, when you see Harden pointing people around, it's usually always B-Ball Paul who he's pointing around. Now, is it a fact that he has trouble picking up the offense a little bit, which is what we heard last year? Maybe. Could he have that type of personality that just needs constant encouraging and told what to do? Probably. And these guys have picked up on it, and they're doing it, and you got the most out of him in Game 4. 10 points, 15 rebounds is phenomenal for him.
So Connor's B-Ball Paul is what you're telling me?
Could be. He still thinks he could get drafted in the NFL if he got the Wonderlic 100%.
Really?
He says, he thinks a team would call him.
Only one team, only one player ever
Got
scored a perfect score.
Yeah?
Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Pat McAnally, a punter.
I remember him.
He got the highest score.
Cincinnati Bengals he played for, I believe.
Yeah, he was the perfect score.
Good for him.
Good for him, yeah.
Didn't get any wrong, Pat.
Well, we're going to get to it here. The all-new Bet Parks app, 7 o'clock hour. Sportsbook and casino in one sleek, easy-to-use app in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We appreciate Bet Parks being a part of things. Hopefully you've got the app downloaded and you'll be ready for a little Phillies action, a little Sixers action tonight. You get to watch the Celtics and the Hawks tonight. Hopefully the Atlanta Hawks come up big and delay the Celtics' arrival towards the Sixers.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Make them plan another trip.
I don't see it happening. I think the Celtics will take care of that one tonight. But my God, what an effort by Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat last night to get past Milwaukee. Woo! He is he is one clutch individual.
You know, for this entire playoff run, I've sat here and really I said it with my chest of, well, if you're a top 3 seed, you don't worry about the first round. You just, it's a foregone conclusion. You advance. And now we're sitting here with 2 teams and top 3 seeds that might lose. So, I'm going to walk that back.
No, the one thing is Giannis injuring his back. What do you want? I'm not going to hold that. If anybody said, wow, you didn't pick Miami, nobody picked Miami. Nobody would pick Miami.
Still think that Milwaukee would be good enough to win the series without Giannis, but
see, I don't.
I guess not.
Yeah, I don't. I
mean, all I've heard about is Milwaukee's depth. Their depth is incredible. They've got these, they come at you in waves off the bench, and then
Well, that was kind of exposed last night too. Yeah, Connaughton and Ingles didn't do much of anything off of their bench.
They looked dazed and confused a little bit.
Yeah, I took a lot of crap on from people on the YouTube page when I said, if Boston hooked up with Miami. I don't know if Miami could win that series, but I think they'd give them some trouble. Miami's just that team. They're just that organization.
They are that guy.
And, it's not like all love and everybody wants to go to Miami because if you look at I remember earlier this year when Spoelstra went at it on the bench with Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
That happened. Yesterday they're showing Pat Riley sitting on the sideline when Jimmy Butler's just going bat bleep crazy and with his arms folded and not changing expression. So it's not like it's this wonderful, glowing, we all love each other kind of an organization. But, God, they figure out how to win in certain times, and playoffs being the most certain of them.
They're a pain.
Yeah, they're a pain.
They're a pain. That's a great way of putting it, Pat.
They're a pain.
Yeah.
And if the Hawks hadn't beaten them in the play-in game, the Miami wouldn't be playing Milwaukee. They would have been playing Boston.
That is correct.
So maybe things, just strangely work out for you.
And there is no reseeding in the NBA, everybody. It seems like this question comes up every day.
It's
but
so stupid.
It is.
Really dumb.
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday, how bad it is. I don't know why they don't do it. It's crazy. But it is a bracket form, and your next opponent is already determined by the winner of a certain series. There's no reseeding.
So if the Sixers and the Celtics advance, arguably the 2 best teams in the East that were remaining if Milwaukee loses, would play each other to eliminate each other and 2 inferior teams advance.
It's just idiotic.
It just is a bad system. And there's no reason for it. There's no proper explanation for it. There's no you can't say that it saves on travel.
What drives
can't say that it's better.
What pisses me off too is if they fail to beat Boston in the second round, then the narrative continues if they can't get out of the second round, even though everybody will also accept the fact that those were the 2 best teams. That if they had faced the other teams,
right,
they probably would have met up in the Eastern Conference Finals. But because there's no reseeding, it's just it's dumb.
That's a great point by you, Pat.
That's a great shame.
It's really tough to get out of the second round when you're playing the best team and you're probably the second best team, or vice versa.
It's a shame you wasted that on. You didn't have a Pat's point of view. That could have been. You wasted that one.
Tomorrow.
You just threw that one out. No, you just threw that one out for free.
No, I dumped it.
You just gave.
I dumped it. Yeah,
that was like
didn't go over there.
That was great insight for free, Bob.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, I would have paid $2.95 for it.
There you go. Do you care, as some of the exercise we're doing this morning on the fact that the NFL dropped the Wonderlic test a couple years ago, and they no longer use it, which I think is much like colleges now saying, yeah, we don't even want to know your SAT score. We're going to go about defining who gets to go to college based on, we're going to come up with new terms. The NFL's now said, yeah, we're going to decide differently. Do you care, Bob, if you're an exec, Pat, if you're an exec, do you care how smart a player is?
No.
I care if they're smart in the sport they play.
So like a test doesn't mean anything to you?
No, not really, no. You can be really basketball smart and maybe not book smart. You could be really hockey smart and not, you can be all of those things. In a perfect world, I'd want the athleticism and I'd want that sports smart also, yeah.
But Pat, would you be the same way as an executive? You'd be like, I'm not really wanting to worry too much about it.
Be the same way as Bob. Look, Deshaun Jackson was an incredible player, and he was really good and really talented, and he knew what he was doing on the football field. I don't think he's winning any awards for academics. Just going off of hearing interviews with him.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he was the best book smart player in the league. So I think there's a prime example of, you probably have guys that are really, really smart and they're not very good. And then you have guys that are really, really good. Probably just they're really, really good at that. They're really smart at that. They didn't really pay attention in school because they didn't need to, because they were the best athlete. They knew that they were destined to go to the NFL. So what was the point of studying and learning where the sun rises and sets? There is no point. They're in the NFL.
I will say, though, having played and stuff like that back in the day, when you have a group of 15, 20 plays that we're running, I would say the kids that were better in school remembered all the plays better than the kids that weren't good in school.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So there probably is correlation there, no question about it. But I do think you can be sport smart. We talk about street smart, book smart. I think you can be sport smart in the sport you play. LeBron James, and he's probably smart a lot of other places with all his endeavors and all, but he is a basketball genius. And just a little bit of an interview I heard with him last night talking about a couple of plays. We all know that. He's a basketball genius, but we've also seen him off the floor. He seems to be a really smart guy, too. I bet you there is plenty of guys out there and girls out there that play sports that might be just geniuses in their sport. But, like, if we did some of these testings here, that maybe they don't test well that way.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is I want an intelligent player, but if I meet him, I want to walk away and say, okay, I'm feeling with this player that they are a responsible individual.
Well, I think that proves our point, though, because a lot of these athletes go broke. And I mean, especially in the NFL.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Statistics are horrible with guys blowing their money and going broke and not being wise. So, I mean, they have the symposium every year. They bring these players in. They try to tell them how to spend their money
Don't buy
wisely.
6 cars.
Yeah, don't. 3 mortgages is a lot. It adds up. So,
did you watch that broke thing?
Yeah, the 30 for 30 on it. Yeah.
Okay, which was amazing. But you know how most of them lose their money.
It's bad investments.
Yeah, but I think the bigger, overwhelming thing I took away from that was taking care of other people. Was having.
See, I took the investment part, but yeah, the taking care
hangers
of everybody that kind of came up with it. Yeah, for sure.
Taking them along for the ride. Pat McAnally. By the way, a West Virginia pro came out of Harvard in the 1975 NFL draft.
A little bit different from West Virginia.
He was the only 50 on the. He is the only 50 ever on the Wonderlic. The next highest score ever was 49. Mike Mamula, who I think may listen to this show, from what I've been told. Mike scored a 49. Kevin Curtis, another one.
Utah State.
A 48.
Or Utah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick scored a 48. Ben Watson, former tight end. I love Ben. Great dude. 48. So those are the 5 highest scores ever registered when they did this. The NFL dumped the Wonderlic, and they said they would not do this testing anymore. And they banned it. So no team is allowed to use this anymore from the 2022 draft on. You're not allowed to do it to a player anymore. They said it was used too often to embarrass players. The lowest scores ever on the Wonderlic test.
Oh, can I guess some of these?
Yes.
So I know Vince Young
I only have Vince Young was one of the 4 lowest scores ever, a 6. And by the way, now when you look at Vince Young, do you say, did it mean anything?
No. People forget he won Rookie of the Year.
Not even as far as his judgment?
No, not really.
Frank Gore.
There's a prime example.
Sort of 6. 16,000 career yards.
Probably could still play.
Morris Claiborne, I believe out of LSU, got a 4.
I thought it was Ohio State.
Is he? Yeah, he may be.
I'll Google it.
He may be. He got a 4. He was that was pretty bad. And that's it.
You're right. LSU, my mistake.
But they do not want to use them. They don't allow to use that anymore.
I think
they said players were getting embarrassed by their scores. And that, by the way, NFL general managers and 17 answered Mike Florio in a like a survey type of thing, they would prefer to draft a guy that had. They would worry less about a guy that was too low on the Wonderlic test. They would worry more about the guy that was too high.
Too intellectual?
Yes.
The whole embarrassing stuff is ridiculous. You're out there showcasing your athletic ability. I asked you to go run a 40 and you run as a running back a 4.8 40. That's embarrassing. You embarrassed yourself. What difference does it make if it's mind or physicality?
Exactly. It should count.
If I'm investing, the Eagles just invested $179 million in one gentleman. I would allow them to perform any type of test they want when they're giving that kind of money away.
I want to ask if anything has changed on this subject with our crew next, and you can join in it too. You got a chance to win a $1,000 gift card to anywhere you want in an hour. John Kincaid Show. Coming up at the top of the hour, John Kincaid Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. So stay tuned for that. Kate Scott joins us later on today as she gets a lot of time off now.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, doesn't it?
I do. I am going to miss hearing Kate Nala. But hopefully you'll get to hear Kate today with us. And Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. You can explore more at your local Staples store. I hate it that the local announcers don't get to do things. Like, to me, I missed seeing Tom McCarthy, even though they put him on the radio broadcast last year, like getting to do the Phillies once it got past a certain level. I mean, like,
yeah.
I really hate that rule.
So do I. I'm sure the announcers do too. The team doesn't hear the broadcast, so they probably don't really mind. But I do. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. I do like the national angle. I do like to hear about the players that we follow all year long and a fresh voice once in a while. But yeah, the comfort of having Ala and Kate Scott and not having them there for the playoffs, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it just is. It doesn't. It seems like it. But Pat, the amount of money that these networks pay, I guess they don't want to be competing.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to compete with anybody.
I think a lot of people would go towards the home.
I would.
Home broadcast. So, yeah, they don't want to compete.
I absolutely would.
Makes sense.
I'm going to ask Kate. I don't know if is it an NBA rule? Because if you remember, I don't want to say back in the day, but there wasn't too long a time ago when either the Sixers, Flyers, or Phillies were in the playoffs and the local broadcasters still did do the games. I seem to recall that. I don't know.
That.
I don't wonder if it's a league-wide rule. We'll have to see, or if NBC Sports Philly maybe.
I don't think so.
Can't do it.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was after the first round that got taken away from them, but we'll look to see tonight. I have to ask if did anything happen in the 76ers first round series win over Brooklyn that changes your opinion? And if you want to join us, you can at 610-632-0975. I want to talk to somebody who thought, yeah, I don't think they can beat Boston. Did you see anything where you say, okay, now I think they can beat Boston? And I need to know what changed between what you saw in the first round that made you say, yep, now I see it. I see they can beat Boston. Do you believe that we have a large portion of people out there that are driving in their car right now, Bob, going, yeah, I didn't think it last week, but now that I've seen the sweep, I believe the Sixers can beat Boston?
Your question was, is there a large amount of people?
And what would they point to that would change their mind specifically to beating Boston? Because I think that's where I'm at. I feel better about the Sixers after seeing how efficiently they won that first round. And how many different guys stepped up at different times and seeing playoff PJ be a real thing. But I'm having a hard time saying, but specifically to beating Boston, this is why I now change my opinion.
Yeah, so you have to look at what Boston does. And as we talked about before, they spread you out on offense. They look like they're playing in an acre of field. They create so much space in the half court when they have the basketball. The Sixers unleashed a matchup zone during this series, which I think was specifically catered to Boston. I think Doc Rivers had it in his back pocket, took it out this series, brush off the dust, all of that, and it was pretty cool. Now, the key is your center man in a matchup zone has to be able to go out and cover people. And if Al Horford's lined up all the way outside on a three-point line, well, that's where Joel Embiid's probably going to have to be. So there's interest in what Doc Rivers did, I think, defensively. That was, although he used it against Brooklyn, I think it's more catered to see how it looked to use against the Boston Celtics. Other than that, it's going to come down to how healthy is Joel Embiid, because I think offensively, unlike Brooklyn, I think Boston's going to play a straight-up man defense with guards digging every once in a while, but not jumping to double-team Joel Embiid. And it'll go from there. Three-point shooting is going to be a key. It's the same old story. You do have a different little wrinkle now with what Doc Rivers is doing defensively, I think, though.
So you would say it's not necessarily going to change your call on the series, but you may feel better about it.
Yeah.
You can feel better about their chances.
I think in the way Tobias Harris is playing, you have an ISO guy now that can score you some key basket. If you need a basket, I'm confident that if Tobias Harris has the right matchup at 6'9", that he can get that for you. Tyrese Maxey, when he's on the move, when he's going, and when he's very involved in the game, his outside shooting becomes better. I think he's a real weapon. Of course, you have Joel Embiid. Here's the key. If Boston does just play straight up man and, air quotes here, lets Embiid get his, the other guys can't be iced out. They still have to be involved. Harden has done a good job of getting where he wants to go. I don't know what the hell's going on with him shooting in the lane, though. I saw a stat before Game 4 that he was 7 for 25 shooting in the lane in that series, and he had to be 1 for 9 on Saturday in that game. So I don't know why he's not able to finish. I know it. People are going to say his legs aren't there, but he's getting where he wants to be. He's just not finishing. I don't know what's going on there. There's enough things that are enticing enough, John, that I feel more comfortable than I did just going into the playoffs.
I saw a bad thing on NBA TV regarding James Harden finishing at the basket. That scares me. All the front rim finishing at the basket misses by James Harden.
Oh, I didn't think it was that. He's missing layups.
But he was hitting the front like he's not elevating is what they were pointing at. And they kept showing he kept hitting the front rim, the side rim. He wasn't getting the ball elevated on those opportunities. And I wonder, they sort of were pointing to it as I don't know if it's Chris Webber. I can't think of who was it as a leg issue. That not elevating enough.
Well, I mean, he's 33 years old. He's averaged 38 minutes a game for 12, 13, 14 years, whatever it is. I can understand if the elevation isn't all the way there the way it used to be. But still, he is getting his shots off in the lane when it's not getting blocked. He is getting his shots off in the lane. He's missing layup, missing floaters. That has to be rectified. He can't shoot the way he did in that first series from there.
Hey, in Cooney's Corner, Bob wants to talk about this Phillies start in reality.
Now, let's see what's in Cooney's Corner.
Yeah, we can go back a week, 10 days ago, and what the hell's wrong with the Phillies? Oh, my God, what is it? And while we said it's way too early in this season we didn't say panic. We said we could be concerned but not have panic. Just maybe we should have expected this. They did play baseball up until November. They didn't have a full spring training with everybody because of the World Baseball Classic. I'm not making excuses here, and other teams went through it also, but other teams didn't play until November. They did things last year that you just didn't expect. Hitters are starting to come around and hit. Pitchers are starting to catch up to hitters, and now they're playing better baseball. Shouldn't we have expected this? Shouldn't we have expected them? Okay, there's going to be a World Series hangover. There's probably going to be guys that aren't going to come out and hit right away. But younger guys did. It's taken the older guys a little bit longer to get going. 500 after 24 games, which is what they'll be after tonight. Okay, shouldn't we have kind of said, all right, they're probably not going to get off to a great start, but they'll be okay.
Okay, yeah. If the schedule wasn't so easy to start the year, I may have agreed with you. But I understand the point of view because the Houston Astros went through the same thing, putzing around for weeks, and then all of a sudden they play the Braves this weekend in Atlanta and they sweep them. They step up and they show, okay, Houston's back. Houston's feeling that again. So I get you. Is that I guess nobody wants to go into a season going, I think they're they played 7 games against the Reds and went 4-3.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting that.
I didn't.
World Series hangover or not.
Yeah. But in Nola, in Wheeler, you had tired arms at the end of last year. So much so with Wheeler that you had to shut him down. So much so that Rob Thompson had quick hooks in those playoff games for the two of them. We probably should have expected them to be a little slow getting out the gate. So once you have that, now you're talking the Ranger Suarez is hurt. Now you're talking the Taijuan Walkers and the Bailey Falters of the world have to kind of carry your pitching staff. that wasn't really there right away. Now Wheeler and Nola are pitching better, and they've had 2 good outings between them. And maybe this is what the team is. And maybe now it's time to take that deep breath and say, all right, starting new. After tonight, they're 500. Here you go. 24 games in. Now this is the real Phillies team.
I just feel really good about the fact that so many things were going well, Pat, when they weren't going well record-wise. Like the youngsters. I'm blown away by the first month of the youngsters on this team. And it makes me so excited about not only the future of this season, but seasons going forward.
Yeah, me too. I think it's been a very pleasant surprise because I don't think we're overly used to, at least being Philadelphia sports fans, having the question marks pan out. Normally, it seems like when we go into a season with a question mark, we have hope that question mark pans out, but they usually suck. And in this situation, it seems like every question mark has panned out. Brandon Marsh looks, like they've completely fixed him from his Anaheim days. Bryson Stott looks like the guy that they kept talking about in the offseason or in the postseason, could win a batting title. Alec Boehm has carried over his play from last year to this year and improved it. Every question mark has seemingly panned out. And then you've got the older guard that even the guys have started slow
are still being productive.
Yeah, exactly. The one complaint that I would have is something you brought up earlier, John. It was the stolen base thing, and that's not even
not a
horrible,
complaint, right? I mean,
yeah, it's not horrible. It's just like they can improve upon it. But you know that Kyle Schwarber is going to go through a month where he just mashes everything he sees. Nick Castellanos is turned into the guy that we thought we were getting last year. Like, the offense looks the part, and Bob brought it up the other day. You go through the starting lineup, and it's 300, 298, 335. It's this lineup can hit. They really just need the pitching to follow suit.
And I do think we're seeing glimpses. We've seen glimpses from Nola. We've seen glimpses from Wheeler.
Yeah, and the bullpen.
I hate hearing the. If it wasn't for that one inning, Wheeler had a great outing the other day. Come on now. Like
you have to count that one inning.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I just say that's uncharacteristic of Wheeler to have these blow-up innings. That was sort of like the Aaron Nola thing that we'd see over the years, where we'd see Aaron Nola have 4 really good innings and then blow up. But I mean, still though, I'm seeing good things from Nola and Wheeler too that are making me think they're coming around.
Yeah, and if Rob Thompson, like Pat has asked for since last season, if Rob Thompson can allow his pitchers to go through that inning, whatever it may be, if Wheeler and Nola have that bad inning, give up 3, whatever, you have an offensive team that should be able to overcome it.
Absolutely.
It's okay. And once you put that in your starters' heads, I believe, okay, you had a bad inning, no big deal. We're going to score runs for you. It's okay. I think that smooths a lot of things out, immediately. And knowing that, no, dude, you had a bad inning, you're still going to go 6-7 for us because that's what we need you to do. And, this bullpen has really started to come around. Kimbrel's been really good lately.
Kimbrel's been fantastic.
Alvarado's just unbelievable. So I think now, today, is the deep breath of, all right, the real baseball happens now.
Well, and then you talked about the bullpen. The bullpen's been really good, and that's even with Sir Anthony not being at his best.
Yeah.
No.
They've started to kind of get him right. Soto had a couple of hiccups there. I mean, they were heavily taxed because of the fact that the starters couldn't go deep, but the starters are even getting reinforcements because Ranger Suarez will be back. So the fact that this team is doing what they're doing, and you know that it's only going to improve when Bryce gets back, when Ranger Suarez gets back, it gives a lot of hope.
I am a guy, Pat, who has sort of scoffed at the idea of the Craig Kimbrel too, the up 1 year, down another, up 1 year, down another, but he got blown up in his first outing. And now he's on a string of 6 scoreless outings where he's been flat out dominant.
It's funny enough because I said the same thing about Aaron Nola, about how if you look at his career, it's pretty much up 1 year, down 1 year. But it's the thing with bullpen is it's so unpredictable how a guy does.
Yeah.
So it's 1 year a guy will look lights out, the next year he'll suck, and the next year he looks incredible. And you get guys that, like Brad Hand last year, you bring in on a minor league contract and they end up playing really good baseball for you. The next year they just come back down to earth. So the unpredictability of a bullpen, even though when you have a guy like Craig Kimbrel who has a career of doing this, you just don't know until you get in there. The fact that Craig Kimbrel has pitched pretty well since his first hiccup in Texas. The fact that Alvarado, I mean, I was worried about him. Like, I was worried coming into the season that home run that still hasn't landed might have messed with him a little bit. Not at all. He's been a stud. I mean, I still have issues with Thompson and how he's handled the bullpen. I wish that he would just leave guys out there for one inning and not bring them out for an inning and a third, an inning 2/3. I wish that he would pick a closer. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of complaints with what's gone down. And then I'm really reaching for a complaint, honestly.
And thankfully, you're not, though. Because you're really not reaching for a complaint. You're just for discussion point, you are. None of us are. I mean, 11-12, I think we're all very positive.
I think I get,
like, for the most part.
Yeah.
I get annoyed at times, but that's going to happen.
That's different.
In a baseball season. But am I sitting there and cursing out Rob Thompson for bringing a guy in with an inning and a third? No, because most of the time it's going to work. I just question the mentality of a reliever. They get so amped up to come out, and then they have to sit there and watch the team bat and then go back out there. But they've been really, really good. I do worry about this series, though, against Seattle.
Did you worry about this series?
The series, yeah.
Why?
They're going up against Seattle's two of their better pitchers, and Logan Gilbert, and
they do us a nice pitching.
Yeah, and they have a pretty damn good offense as well. Cal Raleigh hasn't really come along this season yet, but he's a really, really, really good hitting catcher.
I'll go 2 of 3.
Julio Rodriguez.
Just take 2 of 3.
I would love 2 of 3. I would love it, but they're going up against their horses.
Yeah, they're a 500 team, though. They've been scuffling too. So
we just praised the Phillies, and they're basically a 500 team right now as well. So, but you look at 2 teams that are playoff teams,
right?
So I'm a little concerned. That's all. I mean, they just beat up a bad Rockies team. They're expected to do that. This Seattle team's a little bit different.
Do you know who the musical guest is, Bob? Did you know there's a musical guest for the NFL draft?
I did not.
Pat, did you know?
Say Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis Jr. is dead.
Well, then cross him off the list. Then
how about Frank Sinatra?
I would have to go with Smash Mouth.
No,
Shakira.
It's got to be. I would assume a Kansas City band.
No,
really.
No.
All right, so if it's not Smash Mouth,
New Jersey
Limp
band.
Bizkit.
A New Jersey band.
Oh,
Coach.
Southside Johnny.
Springsteen.
No.
Bon Jovi.
In Europe. Come on, Coach.
Thursday.
The Jonas Brothers.
Oh my goodness.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Because nothing says.
What is this? The NFL draft from like 2012?
Yeah, nothing says. Well, I guess it wasn't in the budget. Nothing says football like the Jonas Brothers.
The Jonas Brothers. By the way, Eagles fans. So there's that going for them. They are
great.
Eagles fans.
Cool. Awesome. That's
the
very.
Jonas Brothers.
Did they just get off of their college tour?
I have no
to
idea.
Pop on and do the
I
NFL
can't
draft?
believe the Jonas Brothers are the musical act.
Yeah, that's
amazing. You didn't know it. I like
the NFL couldn't pony up any more money.
I like the natural reaction that you had, Pat. Like what?
I did. Just that's
like
probably the last band I would have expected was the Jonas Brothers to play. Who played last year?
I don't know. Was in Philly? Was
the
there
Hanson brothers?
Hanson. Hanson. You would have to just be.
Yeah, they played Umbop 5 times and then they left.
Pat, yeah. There is one thing in the notes for the show today, though.
Yeah.
You are you okay with the Eagles running back room? And I just want a yes or no answer. Are you okay?
All right, thanks.
Okay. So you're not.
Thank you. Let's go to break.
You're not, though.
No.
But why are you? Why? Because I say no. Bob, you say no.
I am not. No.
And Pat, you say no. But Pat, I wonder if we all have different reasons for saying no.
Okay.
So what is your reason for saying no?
Their number 1 running back has a propensity to get injured every single season of his NFL career.
Okay.
Which leaves them with no running back.
I don't.
That's my answer is not your answer. My answer is not Pat's answer. So I wondered if we all had 3 different answers. I have a feeling Bob's answer may be mine.
I don't like having a questionable position on a team that is Super Bowl worthy. It's a questionable. It's a questionable position right now on an offense that is supposed to be, elite, and it's a big position. So no, I'm not happy with it at all yet. No.
Okay, so I first of all I love that's the answer. Mine is that I don't think Kenny Gainwell though I was very impressed with him last year, I think he's in the perfect amount of snaps and role to be effective for this team, and I don't want to see that role expanded into something else. I don't want to see them counting on him to do a lot more. So all three of us had a different answer, but we all had the same answer. If just asked, are you happy with it? No. But we all had three different answers, all which leads you, Pat, to why not pull the trigger
They got to do something.
On a running back.
I mean, their number one running back is on the cheapest one-year prove-it contract. And he came here because he was a prove-it deal, but also because he wanted to play behind this offensive line. I don't blame him, but this ain't it. You can't go from a 1,300-yard rusher in Miles Sanders to, like, we're all going to convince ourselves that Penny is, like, all of a sudden going to find a magic healing thing, and he's never going to get injured again. Like, he gets injured every damn year.
And this is one where Daniel Jeremiah asking, is the Eagles' running back depth right now the ultimate Howie Roseman tell that he just might pull the trigger on bringing in Bijan Robinson?
If it's not Bijan, it's got to be somebody else.
Or somebody, yes.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody else.
Or Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that Gibbs fits this offense better than a Bijan Robinson would, and it's a perfect fit and all that. And he's slotted
By the way, you know why they do?
Why?
Because of the mesh offense and because of him running in an RPO type offense. Penny may be the better guy. He may be the better choice because of that.
I'm going to make what did they pay Penny? I know it was a
$1
one-year
million.
contract.
I believe it's $1 million.
It was like
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say he's not even on the roster. Come opening game.
Stop that.
That is bold and beautiful.
Well, think about it.
Warning, this is a hot take alert.
If they do draft a running back, I assume he becomes your number one because, I mean, with those picks that we're talking about, 30, around 30, or if you move back from 10, he becomes your number one. Are you really going to, like, move Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott down the depth chart? I don't think you would do that after the year they had last year.
Yeah, they both elevated their play.
You went to the Super Bowl last year with those guys. I would look at that room and say, sorry, Rashad, we really don't have room for you. Or he might become that guy that, he's just not dressed today.
This is like a Travis Fulgham 1,000 yards kind of take from you.
Is it really?
It's not that bad, but it's up there.
It is. That was bold, Bobby, but we love bold on this show.
I said if they draft a running back.
Yeah, I mean, no one's listening, so don't worry about it.
Okay. All right, loading up on offense. Is that the play for the upcoming draft? We'll get to that. John Kincaid Show here on 97.5
The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincaid Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
I can't wait for 5 questions with Kincade today. Haley's question, which somewhat involves Connor. I can't wait for it. I never knew about this till I saw it yesterday on television. And so it'll be a lot of fun. And so, Connor, you're going to have to stick around for Haley's question.
I'm not planning on going anywhere. I kind of work here.
You do.
Unless there's something I'm not aware of.
You do. You're going to be here. Now, why are you in Pat's seat?
Because Pat's
on a different
another
seat.
Yeah. He'll be back shortly.
By the way, yesterday afternoon while I was doing show prep and everything, I watched Akbar on the talk.
Akbar.
Because I was wondering, since the show's done live, I wondered whether he would bring up the fact that they always do like, well, what'd you do this weekend type of stuff on those shows. So I'm like, I was figuring maybe Akbar would talk about breaking news on the Derrick Henry trade front. Akbar didn't do any of that.
No, they didn't bring it up?
No, not once was it brought up.
Huh.
Jerry O'Connell didn't bring it up with him?
I think you're better to get out in front of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's starting to look dumb now because the guys who cover the team and the major NFL insiders say there's absolutely zero truth to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
That the Eagles have had no contact about Derrick Henry.
That's what they want you to think.
That the Titans,
there he is.
That the Titans have had no interest in Derrick Henry, and that nobody around the teams is talking at all about that deal being done.
Somebody done Akbar wrong.
And they have a mutual. The weird thing is that did they want to put it out there? Did they want to sort of did he want to float something that would create?
If he did, I mean, why would you float it like that? Like break
He'd be so bold,
yeah.
so chesty.
Like Derrick Henry to the Eagles, you heard it here first. Like that's, if I'm floating something, I'm going like, I'm hearing there's a possible move of like, you're giving yourself back doors. He didn't give himself any.
Not at all. I mean, he really didn't.
Now, even if somebody screwed with you, or even if I don't know, somebody had an agenda to give it to you, which you should be able to sniff out if you're a journalist. I agree with you, Pat. I don't know why he did it so chesty, why he handled it the way he did. Now, what? He's got the same agency group as
Akbar.
Akbar and Henry have the same. I don't know. I wonder if somebody was playing a joke on him and he carried it to a spot where they went, "Whoa, dude, we were just messing with you."
And he went with it in a big way. Paul Koharski used to write for, you remember the writer from ESPN?
Koharski, yeah, he used to be a referee in the NHL.
He's not the referee. Have another donut. It's not that Koharski.
Not that one.
One of the things is Nashville Sports Radio yesterday, there was talk of people are speculating that the Titans are looking for trade partners to move up in the draft if a quarterback slides, and that the Eagles are one of the teams that potentially the Titans have already talked to, saying, if this player's on the board, we want to move up. Would you be interested in moving back? And obviously, the Eagles and the Titans are one apart. So, yeah, they'd be like, we want to arrange a deal with you. It's been documented in the past that Howie has had deals made before draft night with teams going, if this player's on the board, we'll move back because we don't mind moving back to your spot, and this is the compensation we agree on.
Akbar's onto something, Pat.
So Akbar may have heard that. There may have been something about that. But reportedly, if a quarterback slides in this draft, the Titans want to move up, and the Eagles would be one of the teams that they would potentially talk to. Here's the only thing is, I guess you would only move up saying, I want to move up to the Eagles spot just in case somebody else doesn't move up to the Eagles spot, to block another team that's looking for a quarterback from getting that Eagles pick. The Eagles need quarterbacks to slide. Yeah. And that pick is going to be worth much more.
Absolutely.
Because Washington's looking for it. Washington is contemplating drafting a quarterback, and they're at 16. If somebody slides and they like them, maybe that 10th pick becomes something just a little bit more. So
yeah, and you trade that right away because Washington will screw that up.
I would go 10 to 16 in a second.
Yeah.
Because you would get you would potentially get next year's Washington's first-round draft pick. For them to get a quarterback, you're getting their first-round pick next year, and Washington will be in the basement of our division most likely this year.
Yeah, no question about that. They're not going to get a quarterback.
I absolutely am doing that. Washington, what's best next year? If they start Sam Howell this year, or they start a rookie quarterback, what's best case scenario? 6 wins?
Oh,
6 and 11.
6 is probably.
I mean, they have some skill position players, but
They do.
yeah, without the quarterback, doesn't make any difference. No.
We have a chance for you to win $1,000, a gift card to anywhere you want coming up after the top of the hour here on the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. And I want to remind you that if you snore, you could have sleep apnea. So check out sleephealthypa.com. It's a sleep solution that you've been looking for. That's sleephealthypa.com. In Pat's point of view, he wanted to talk more about this draft that's coming up on Thursday.
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
Hi, Pat.
Hi, guys.
I take it it's your point of view?
It is indeed. So we had a lengthy discussion yesterday about running backs and drafting them, or do you trade for them, and what to do with the 10th overall pick. Do you trade back? Do you trade up? Do you stay the same? And I realized that if they're going to draft offense with their first pick, I'm more comfortable with them drafting a wide receiver than anything else.
Is Jamie gotten to you?
He has.
He's gotten to you with this, hasn't he?
He has completely gotten to me. He has shown me the light. He handed me a big glass of Kool-Aid. I drank all of it.
You slurped it up.
Yeah, like I'm all about giving Jalen Hurts more weapons to work with, and giving him a plethora of young wide receivers that he can just gash teams with. But more importantly, if you draft a wide receiver in the first round, if you draft Njigba in the first round, he's going to be on your team for probably a decade. If you draft Bijan, he might be on your team for 5 years. Maybe 5, maybe 6. So I think the longevity, too. You know, we've talked about, well, do they go offensive line? And me and Bob are on the same page. If they go offensive tackle, I'm just throwing my arms up. Like, you don't need it this year.
Or you could throw up your, like, T-Rex, T-Rex arms? If you wanted to go Skoronski?
Oh, does he have small arms?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah, I'm throwing papers in the air. I'm like, you don't need it this year. Running back, depending on where he was drafted, I would have been like, eh. But if they stay at 10 and they take a wide receiver, I'm still going to be okay with it. I've talked myself into this Jamie Lynch thing of let's get weird. And part of it too is you have the luxury of having the 30th overall pick. I don't know if I'd be like this if you didn't have the 30th overall pick. I want to address defense. I've talked about the fact they don't have any depth pretty much anywhere, so they do need to address it. But man, like if you're going to go offense, if you're going to build something for Jalen Hurts, then go wide receiver more than anything else. Like let's get wild. I'm more comfortable with them taking wide receiver than running back. There, I said it.
Okay.
I said it with my chest.
All right.
You're
Definitive.
feel better getting it off my chest.
I like you being definitive, Pat.
There's really only one wide receiver to go and get. If you're talking about first-round talent, Pat, or are you talking...
Say his name again.
Njigba.
Just to say it. This is
Smith
not...
Njigba.
It's not easy. Smith Njigba.
All right, is that who you're targeting, though, Pat?
Yeah.
Specifically? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, apparently he's better than Chris Olave, who was a stud last year.
Yeah, he was good last year. He was on my fantasy team.
He was just a situation of he's playing behind Marvin Harrison Jr., who's incredible. And maybe that's a bit of a cause for concern was he the benefit of the fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting double teamed at Ohio State? But I'm all for it. Like, let's get weird. Let's draft Jackson Smith and Njigba. Let's put him in the slot. Huge upgrade over Quez. But this is saying if they're dead set on drafting offense. So my rankings on offense would be probably wide receiver, running back, tight end, and then offensive line.
Can I ask the hyphenated last names?
You cannot.
Is this going to be when you're a hyphenated last name, like his sister?
Mm-hmm. What's her deal?
When she gets married, does she then have 3 names?
I probably just take the one. I don't know.
So Jackson Smith Njigba.
So what's his sister's name?
So his sister. Let's say his sister's name
Anna Marie.
is Anna. Anna Jackson Smith
No,
Njigba.
Jackson's his-
no, she
Okay,
would
so
become
Anna
Anna
Smith Njigba. So then she gets married to a guy named Jones. Is she then Anna?
Is this where your mind went?
Yes. Like, because all these people with hyphenated names now, once they get married.
Is that how bad my point of view was?
Do they take it? It's one of the confusing things.
Well,
look, you don't know the answer.
One
you
person
don't know the
takes
answer.
it,
I
the other
don't care
gives it.
about the answer.
Do you take it or not?
I
Anna
don't. I
Smith-
try to give it as much as possible, but I have taken it in the past.
Well, save that one.
What are we talking about?
Is
I have
the
no idea. I thought we were talking about wide receivers. Say you get him at 10.
No.
Okay. No, you're out on him at
I'm
10.
out.
Which I just saw on a mock. And you also get Bijan Robinson.
So you get Jackson Smith and Jigba and Bijan Robinson?
Yes.
Let's party.
Get weird.
Yeah. Hey,
Man, I might take my pants off.
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't, though.
Yeah,
Let's get weird, though, by giving someone $1,000.
97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway.
Anywhere you want it. Any gift card you want to any business. $1,000 gift card giveaway from The Fanatic. The keyword this time is spot. The word spot. There are 3 ways to play. Enter the keyword on the Fanatic app at 97.5thefanatic.com, or you can text it to 45911. The keyword is spot. 97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway presented by American Standard HVAC Contractors. To find a dealer, visit AmericanStandardAir.com. One person selected at random is going to win. Get complete rules for this company-wide contest at 97.5thefanatic.com. And we wish you all the best of luck. 8 o'clock hour, the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Chance to win that $1,000 gift card.
Getting depressed.
Okay,
here.
you golf. Why are you getting depressed?
Yeah, what happened?
Because I'm just looking up some mock drafts, like looking at different things as it gets closer. I said to you, the only place that the Eagles could draft that would bother me, and Pat, you're on board with me, is offensive line.
Right.
I've seen 2 that
Paris Johnson,
are going.
did they go with?
Peter Skoronski.
Oh, no.
Then I said the one guy I don't want on the defensive line, if they go that way, because he's a project and all that, and I can't stand that, is Lucas Van Ness. And now I've seen him twice this morning in different mocks that I've looked at going to the Eagles at 10. Those are the 2 things I don't want.
I saw the Van Ness NFL Network profile yesterday, and I just don't. Something about it feels reachy to me.
Exactly. I totally agree with you, John.
And that one of the things they actually use, and if you watch the NFL Network's profile on it, he could be a pinup boy for your franchise. Female fans will love him. I'm like, really? That isn't being mentioned in a draft room. I hope that never.
What channel were you watching?
NFL Network.
Oh
They said,
God.
well, they were giving all these things about like, hey, he likes chocolate. He likes all these things. They're going off the wall, saying this player's obsessed with chocolate. Pat, I can only see your draft profile. Obsessed with ice cream.
Runs a sub 5.3.
But we're wondering about him with ice cream.
High motor, though. High motor.
High motor?
Yeah.
High.
You don't think I have a high motor?
I would say you have a motor.
You have a motor. It sort of idles early in the day.
Yeah,
and then it accelerates.
I was about to say, well, it takes a bit to get going, but once it doesn't stop.
Look out.
Yeah. Yeah, slow to start
Once
games,
it gets going, Pat's motor, man.
Don't make me start writing draft profiles for you there, Johnny.
It goes.
All right?
It's perfect. Pat's very sensitive this morning.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Bobby over there's draft profile would be something.
What is? Do you want to write draft profiles?
I
Do you want to do this tomorrow, Coach? You want this on the show sheet for tomorrow?
Pretty funny.
I think it would be funny.
All right.
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
Draft profiles tomorrow. Bobby, you in?
He's writing them about us?
No,
or
and we're writing them
everybody's?
about him, yes.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
That's right. I'll write a profile about
There we
Pat.
go.
Okay.
So, Pat, Pat tossed it out there. I think it's a funny idea, Pat.
Fine.
Pat, when I hear fine in my house, that it sucks.
Means the same thing on this show.
Please. It's really terrible. Do you know the teams that gained the most 20-plus yard plays last year were amongst the most successful? In fact, the Chiefs were an NFL best 83 plays of 20-plus yards or more. The Eagles were second with 80 plays, and the 49ers were third with 75. 3 of the lists. In fact, if you go by 20-plus yard plays and having the most 20-plus yard plays over the last 10 years, you're going to find yourself you're going to be right there in amongst the top 10 teams in 20-plus yard plays if you're going to make the Final Four in your sport on average.
Offense wins football games.
So it plays to the conversation that we've been having and kicking around. Why aren't you loading up with a premium offensive player to just make your offense unstoppable? Kansas City lost the Cheetah last year. One of the greatest players, offensive talents out there. And they still managed to be the team with the most plays over 20-plus yards. Or Patrick Mahomes. Or, for that matter, last year was a Jalen Hurts. 83 and 80. That's 1-2 in the NFL last year for plays. Third place was San Francisco with 75. Fourth place was Miami with 72. And then it starts to drop down. The Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs separated themselves from the rest of the NFL with those explosive plays. I would imagine it only gets better.
Get it done, Howie.
I would imagine it only gets better.
Get it done, Howie.
And I honestly think that running back's the missing piece.
It appears to be, yeah.
Catching back?
It's a big question mark right now. You're talking about a guy who's your number one that hasn't been able to stay healthy. And there's nothing from one team to another, whatever, but we see what happens when a star person gets hurt. This town goes crazy. So, yeah, it is the biggest question mark on the offensive side of the ball right now. There are no question holes to fill on the defensive side. You can take care of that later. Build up this offense. Get it to be super elite.
Prolific, yes.
Before this season even starts, yeah.
You know what I also say? Super elite and super young. You've invested in the offensive line last few drafts with young players. You can go right now and go get one of the shiny new cars off the lot.
Yeah, why not?
Go do it. Why wouldn't you?
I would.
I mean,
I'm in.
I'm all in. I really am. I'm all in. If it's Peter Skoronski on Thursday night, I'm going to throw up a little bit.
Yeah. Peter
don't
Skoronski and Lucas Van Ness are two names I do not need to hear attached to the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday. Howie, I know you're listening.
Oh,
Please,
I'm sure he listens.
Please. Neither one of those two guys. Thank you.
No, just don't do it.
I don't have a problem if they take an offensive tackle with the 30th pick. Or I really should start preface it by saying with the second pick, because we don't expect them to draft at 10 and 30 anyway.
Right.
But with the second pick, I don't have a problem with it if they want to take a project. But to take it at 10, I don't know, man. It's the best case scenario with your window being open for the Super Bowl. You're taking a position. Best case scenario won't touch the field. That just doesn't sit well with me.
By the way, Bob, on the NFL Network, and we have one of our listeners here, Marty, was watching some of these profiles that they're doing, and he says Njigba Smith would be one that Pat would like because he likes candy and cartoons.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, that's my kind of guy.
Candy.
I mean, what normal human being doesn't like a little candy and cartoons?
Candy and cartoons.
Cartoons are just thoughtless fun, and so is candy.
I mean, come on there.
Pat?
It's the.
Why are you throwing it to me, Bob?
I'm saying Pat's one of those guys. Pat is that guy.
You're that guy.
Pat's the
I
everyman.
started this trend.
Pat, I mean.
This candy and cartoon trend that's sweeping the nation started right here on the Kincaid show.
I guess Van Ness.
I'm really about that life.
Van Ness was approached by the Saks. Pat, do you know what Saks is?
Are you going to talk about his underwear deal?
No, but he turned it down, so that's where this comes from.
Yeah, are you?
He turned down this money.
We know.
Would you turn down that money?
Yes.
Why?
Because I can get it somewhere else. Nobody needs to see my chunky dad bod up there in
well, wait a minute.
In Times Square. Saks,
Coach.
Man.
Saks, are you in for the ad campaign? I bet it's pretty lucrative.
What's the money?
I went last night and found ball sacks.
No. How much money did they pay me?
I don't know. It just says that he turned down to do it.
I'll do it.
Bob, you're not that guy.
I'm all right.
Bob's not that guy.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
I can't see Bobby being an underwear model.
To be,
Depends
yeah,
on
but
how
if they're, but if
wear
you're,
underwear.
wait a minute
but
though.
it depends on how much they're paying.
And if you're approached, it's obvious then that they think you have the physique for it.
Right?
Maybe.
I mean, but do I want to be sitting there in the trenches getting criticized for it?
That's what I'm wondering.
Like, I remember watching the Falcons Hard Knocks, and they were highlighting some 7th-round pick who had, a cup of coffee in the NFL. He was ridiculing Michael Orr the entire preseason game. I'm coming after you, blindside. And Michael Orr talks about, like, the movie really, I mean, it did a number on him.
Yeah, he doesn't look favorable in that movie,
not
right?
at all.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't just wake up and not know what football was. I knew what football was.
He thinks he was depicted. Yeah, he thinks he was depicted incorrectly.
And it doesn't help that he ended up being a bust in the NFL. But I don't know if I'd want to,
if you'd want that,
yeah. I don't think I want that smoke.
I don't think I'd want to have to deal with it constantly either.
Plus, I could probably get an endorsement deal somewhere else.
You'd probably be able to do that.
If someone's offering me that much money to take my clothes off, imagine how much money they'll offer me to put my clothes on.
But now the college athletes are being offered lots of money. I mean, they're making. I mean, every Texas A&M athlete gets $25,000. Football player, every player, $25,000 a year.
They did a story on
that's fantastic.
Real Sports a couple of years ago. This was a couple of years ago, probably 6-7 months ago. This was Utah State.
All right.
Okay, not exactly a powerhouse, I would say, in the terms of college football, but they had a booster who started a protein bar company, and he was paying all of the scholarship players a check every 2 weeks. They would have literally an event after practice. They'd all come and get their paycheck. And then for the non-scholarship guys, he was paying for them to go to school.
I think that's amazing.
And it was cool. It was cool to see, but it gives you an idea of the landscape of college football that even this dude who's probably the third long snapper is now getting something.
People hate it. A lot of people out there, the purists, hate it. I love it. I love seeing these kids get paid. I love them being able to go to college and make money for what they do. Bobby, are you out on that?
I don't know. I'm never against anybody making money. You put people on equal scales here. A kid that's going to school to, be a doctor, save lives, save kids' lives, teach kids. I can understand they kind of look at a slanted eye and say, okay, well, that guy's got a skill that he can snap a football through his legs, and they're giving him $25,000 on top of a full scholarship.
Well, an advertiser's giving it. The money's coming from an outside source.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean,
you can understand somebody looking at it with a side eye.
Yeah, I'd say
it's turned college athletics into free agency.
It really has.
Yep.
I mean, every coach now has to re-recruit their own players every single year. You just saw Temple lose a bunch of kids. I mean, part of it was obviously
part of it was coaching change.
They moved on from Aaron McKee, but also I think a larger part of it is now all of a sudden these kids have Penn State in their ear talking about how much money they can give them, and Houston in their ear, and Memphis, and Temple's trying to do that with the tough fun, but it's difficult. I mean, it's free agency. It's what it's become.
Yep.
I'm happy for the players, though.
I'm happy for them too. Yeah,
I really am, and even though it hurts my alma mater, I'm happy for them.
I would have liked revenue sharing, but that was never going to happen because
that was never
teams
going to
were
happen.
never going to give up revenue.
Correct.
I'm going to be interested to see over the next few years how many more established great coaches get out of the
just
college
because they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, like
Hey,
Jay Wright.
Yep. There you go.
5 questions with Kincaid's coming your way next. I cannot wait for some of these answers next. John Kincaid Show here on
The John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
You know, Kate Scott joins us next hour. Tommy Green stops on by, chatting the Phillies up. John Kincade Show on The Fanatic. You know, your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. You can learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Let's have a little fun. Let's have 5 questions with Kincaid. Get rolling. And Connor, you can roll in here to be a part of one of the first ones. Let's get things rolling, Pat.
It's time for 5 questions with John Kincade.
I'm asking you, Pat, right off the bat. You get question 1.
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're all right.
Question 1.
Yeah, it's not a disaster in here at all. No, things aren't on fire, and
all right,
I'm not screwing up. Keep going.
Nikki Foles is going to her new vet today for the first time. And it got me thinking, what is the average annual cost of owning a dog in the state of Pennsylvania?
Ooh, good question.
How much do you think it costs to own a dog in the state of Pennsylvania, the average cost?
All right, so I would go with...
every cost with the dog all year long.
Yeah, I would go with probably $14.72.
$14.72. Does anyone want to play along with Pat? $1,472. Annual cost.
I'll go lower. I'll go about $650.
$14.73.
You're a jerk.
Coach?
I'm going to go a little higher than that. I'm going to say about $1,800.
Coach, that's amazing. The average annual average annual cost of owning a dog in Pennsylvania is $1,819 a year.
Wow.
And by the way,
Coach knows stuff.
We're in one of the top 5 most expensive states to own a dog. Why? Like, why? Jersey's not as expensive. What the hell is it
Our
about?
vets are better.
The vets are better in Pennsylvania, so we're paying?
Much better.
Used to have a stadium named after.
Exactly, and that's...
Is that what it is?
That kiss, I'm not beating that.
All right, Bob, you're not going to beat that one.
That made me laugh more
Let's
than
just
should've.
move on. Very good.
Question 2.
All right, Connor Thomas.
Hello.
If a second opinion doctor told you that Bryce Harper should not come back before June due to risk of re-injury and fears that his rehab was rushed, would you shut him down the idea of returning him early?
What are these doctors' qualifications? Because
this is one the Phillies go to.
He went to the greatest elbow person in the country.
Okay, so that's his first doctor.
Yeah.
Now, they get a second opinion, and this doctor says, I'd keep him out till June. I wouldn't rush him back, because one of the things with an elbow and with this injury is that you can re-aggravate it.
Yeah. I'm going back to the first guy and saying, yo, take a second look at this, because everything says he's ahead of schedule. I don't see that as a possibility. I know this is hypothetical if this happens, but there's nothing about his rehab that says to me that he's going to be pushed back to the original timeline.
He is meeting with that doctor on Monday.
Yeah. I think he's going to be fine.
So you would not need a second opinion then?
My guess is that it will be faster rather than getting pushed back. He will be accelerated, if anything, opposed to like the average timeline.
He's going to see the elbow doctor
on Monday
and then walk into the bathroom and put on his uniform and cleats and go right to the ballpark and play.
And go play
That's
against
what you're
the Dodgers next week.
Exactly. He might play today. No, I don't know when he's. I don't know when he's going to come back.
I think there's a chance he comes back against the Red Sox next weekend in Philly.
Oh, I'd be really surprised if it was that soon, man. I'm still looking at. You've got to see if they put him in rehab.
He's not doing a rehab. Rod Thompson's already said it.
He said it.
He's not going down to the minor leagues to play games.
That's what I'd be most. That's what I'd be most interested about with this opinion, is if it's like, okay, we're checking some stuff out. Maybe that brings rehab start back onto the table.
Okay.
But I don't think it'll be pushed back at all.
Okay, I just want you to move over to this chair in here, because I want you in here when Haley answers her question coming up. Let's go to question 3.
Question 3.
Coach, do you know of any famous serial killers' souvenirs that they've kept? Because we always joke about you and your collecting of Pez dispensers.
I would say that you're a Seinfeld fan, right?
Yes.
So, Son of Sam, didn't Newman have his mailbag?
He had his mailbag, yes.
Yeah.
But this is the killers themselves. The souvenirs that they kept of their victims.
Wow, that's dark.
It is dark.
Boy.
Bob's looking.
Good morning, Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
this.
What in the
I don't
holy
know.
hell are we talking about?
That is
I never heard of a.
yes.
Oh wow.
Serial killers are famous for keeping these.
I don't know.
Charles
They're famous for other things.
Charles
too, but not as-
Albright, who was arrested in 1991, kept his victims' eyeballs. Did you know that, Coach?
That's weird, man.
Robert Hansen.
The Hansen brothers.
He took down at least 17 people before he was caught. He kept a piece of the victim's jewelry, every single one of them. Joel Rifkin. Remember that one? The name of Elaine's, yes? That murdered all the things. He had a haul of trophies, including driver's license, jewelries, and library cards. He liked something out of their wallets he would keep with them.
You'd have a lot of options with Pat.
Jerry Brudos stole his victim's shoes. He was considered the shoe fetish slayer. He would take a pair of their shoes from the scene. These people are crazy. I mean,
No
that's
kidding. When you say serial killer, I'm not really expecting a guy to come in and be all there.
Harvey
I don't
Glattman.
see why we're laughing about this. They killed people.
Harvey Glattman took a photo, Pat, of all his victims.
Don't lump me into this conversation.
Yeah,
everyone.
right?
All right, I was out, and you're not going to pull me in.
Isn't Haley's question coming up soon?
It is. Haley's going to
got
come
lost.
in. Haley's going to
Question
come in.
4.
Haley's gone.
All this out of our voice, Hale.
She
All right,
tried to use Waze
He's
to come
coming.
in.
She ended up
She's in Allentown.
She ended up in Allentown.
Oh, I heard
Bob-
that she started using Waze, and she's
you go.
mixed results.
She'll be there today. Bob Cooney, everyone is watching the NBA playoffs. If I made you commissioner for a day, what would you implement? You're commissioner for a day. You can put a binding piece of implement into it. Everybody's watching the NBA playoffs right now.
Yeah, well, the first thing I'm doing is I am reseeding. All right, so you're the higher seeds are playing the lower seeds according to wins and all that stuff. I'm not doing a bracket.
Okay. Which doesn't make sense. The bracket makes no sense. And I got
No.
people emailing going, the NCAA tournament is the greatest thing in sports. I said, well, no, it's not, actually, by ratings, revenue, or otherwise. Just somebody told you that and you believed it.
Yeah, I would also make sure that every game is separated by a day. You're going every other day. I know when one series ends and another begins, you can't control that. I understand that. But when series starts, it's every other
Day once the
every other
series
day.
starts.
Yep.
I like those answers.
Yeah.
Commissioner Cooney, think it could work. All right, final question.
Final question.
Haley, how are you, Hale?
Doing good. I actually did use Waze to get over here today. So.
You did? Did you get here finally? You're having mixed
Finally.
results, Pat says?
Yeah, it's not been working out that well.
How does Waze mess you up?
I'm just bad at driving.
You're
That's
bad
what
at driving.
That's what it comes down to.
There ain't no chance she's finding PJs in Medford Lakes today without some sort of problem.
Over or under?
I will make that
No,
prediction
I think you're
now.
fine. I don't understand. I truly don't understand this because I find the navigation apps really easy.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do? You need to make your map smaller so you don't look at a big map. Like when you're looking at your Waze,
Yes.
is it big or is it small and more focused? You need to shrink it so you get more.
It takes up the whole screen of my car. I would say.
Guys, it gives you turn-by-turn directions.
It says turn left.
It says
Yeah.
turn left. You turn left. It says turn right. You turn right.
Go through this light,
You're
and
not
at the
looking at a
next
map.
one, turn right. It's
In
really
6
not
miles.
hard. Yeah.
You got me on that
Wait
one.
a minute, I have a giant map on my screen.
I do too. My point is, the map isn't the issue. When the thing is telling you to literally turn left, you'll get there.
Well, Haley, I have to ask you this question.
Okay.
Do you know the dating app Playoff?
No.
Connor, do you know Playoff?
Never heard of it. Nope.
I'm shocked because I would think Connor would be on it.
What kind of app is this?
The dating app for athletes.
Oh, man.
It is a common experience dating app where college athletes and pro athletes go and get themselves verified like blue checks. So Connor would have to produce his I played college baseball to get on this dating app. And you would then you have to be verified as a professional athlete or a college athlete. And then you'd be on the dating app and you are only dating other athletes. You've never heard of this app?
Is this real?
It's real. It's called Playoff.
I've never heard of this app.
Connor?
I have no interest.
Connor, you'd be eligible.
I have no interest remotely in this.
Bob, if he was a widower, would be eligible. If you were a widower.
This is the darkest 5 questions ever.
My wife is a serial killer that collects shoes going to make you laugh when he kills my wife?
By the way, the #1 dating apps, you should check out Playoff, though, because Connor, you could be on it.
No, I'm not interested. My life is sports already. I don't want my dating to become sports.
Okay, but the quality of women
I'm sure
is rated 9 out of 10. Usability is rated 8 out of 9. It's considered the #1 #1 dating app for athletes.
Is it free?
Playoff, yeah. eHarmony is the second most used app by professional athletes.
Really?
eHarmony.
I don't know. That sounds like an agent put a profile together, and the agent only knows eHarmony, so something there.
The other ones are, the #1 thing other than those are Tinder Select. Do you both know Tinder Select?
No, I imagine it's like this famous people Tinder.
Yes.
Yeah. They
If
got
you've
like
been
this
invited-
thing, Raya, too. That's
Yeah,
like,
the Raya one.
Raya.
Yeah.
Raya is the #4.
yeah.
But you have to be I guess you have to be invited.
Yeah, it's like an exclusive dating app for the celebrities.
Do they pay for that?
I'm not too sure about that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So neither one of you are doing the Connor, you could do Playoff.
Yeah, I'm good.
You
I'm
really
doing-
wouldn't
I'm doing all right. I'm
you
fine.
wouldn't do Playoff. The quality though.
Yeah,
it says
quality's fine as well.
it says it's much higher.
Nah,
right.
relative to the average person.
Yeah, sure. Oh, listen.
Oh,
There you go.
man.
You guys let me talk too long.
will
I
be-
got to move on.
You guys will be out today at PJ's in Medford Lakes?
Yes, if everyone can find it, we'll be there.
Hopefully.
It's not
Egan-
that hard.
Egan,
You'll be
is
all
it-
right.
Well, it is sort of hard.
Yeah,
It
well-
is the other end
Don't
of the
say
world.
that.
I wasn't worried about me.
Oh, man.
I'm not worried about Connor.
I drove to a place at the shore the other day that was like 85 miles from my house. And this is very similar. This drive is very similar. I mean, it's a Medford Lakes is tucked away.
Well, welcome to our world,
It's sort
buddy.
of tucked away.
Oh, yeah, it's a smaller part of the world.
Bob and I have
But
been
it's
driving to
beautiful.
every corner of PA for the past 6 months.
You mean where a radio station is?
I mean,
No, I mean, seriously,
We're close.
not to confuse you.
we're closer to
Where-
Jersey than we are to the places we go in PA.
It's a hike.
Yeah.
Medford Lakes is like a vacation spot.
So when I show up at like 10 p.m. tonight,
You'll be late.
I'll be there.
All right, 4 to 6. Be there for you today. PJ's on Stokes Road in Medford, New Jersey. And Rock will be there,
Rock will be there. I think a couple of my boys are going to show up tonight.
which will be a good spot. And Medford Lakes out and about today. It was a beautiful setting, if I remember last time, and they had the Swiss Chalet. It looks like one of those, like a Swiss chalet.
Yeah.
It has all
I
that
don't know what
wood
a Swiss
outside.
chalet
It doesn't
looks
look like a PJ's. It
No?
doesn't look like your typical PJ's.
Well, they have a lot of wood out
Yes.
there in Medford Lakes. A lot of, houses are built like, those, what do you call it? Oh, God, what do you call wood houses that are, the
cabins?
yeah, like cabins and stuff like that. So I think this PJ's kind of went off on that theme, but it's a great PJ's. Love it.
Oh, it's a beautiful spot. We had a good time last time. We'll look forward to having you there. All right, we have our NFL draft question of the day. And we'll find out. So Connor's going to have to come back in for this one to give us his answer. But the question of the day, and Pat, I'm going to go to you first. And we will check on Friday morning for our answers, and we'll get Jamie's when he comes in and joins us on Thursday morning so we can see. Yesterday, we were all over the board on the question. I do not think we will be all over the board today. The first position drafted by the Eagles on Thursday night will be position.
Defensive end.
Pat says D end. Bob?
I'm gonna also go defensive line.
So you're going with the defensive lineman?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to differentiate it there.
Well, because some of the kids can play inside or out.
Players, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't what
Easy
you were
with the
going to
wording
say.
I said it correctly.
Connor?
I hate to make this boring, but I'm going to go the same.
You're a defensive end or defensive line?
Defensive line. I'm going to take the Bob caveat to cover myself a little bit
Because
there.
you may get one that's more specific. I mean, Pat, if he gets defensive end, good to get this right. You're going defensive line, though.
I'm hedging my bet, but yes.
I am going to say that we are going to have an offensive lineman.
Oh, God. Wait, you're all Peter Skoronski'd up?
No, I'm not, and I do not want Skoronski. Paris Johnson is, I think they will pick the heir apparent to Lane Johnson being
really?
Paris Johnson.
I can't. I'm with Pat. I don't want to back up in my first pick. No.
I get you. No, look, I get you. But Jeff McClain's outstanding podcast has me spooked, Pat. It's got me completely spooked because I do believe that Lane Johnson may have retired if they had won the Super Bowl. That he may have walked away. And if a guy was contemplating retiring last year, I don't think he's playing 3 more years.
Sure he is. He just signed a contract. He's going to honor that contract.
Jason Kelsey did it. He's been playing in retirement for the past decade.
I don't know. Go. By the way, Jeff McClain's podcast is amazing. Go check it out.
It's really good.
And thank you for that tip, Pat.
Yeah, no problem.
Because that is a great. Because I had missed that. Like I had missed that Jeff had a podcast.
He does a real good job.
And it's a unique take on the podcast.
Yeah,
going back and looking.
You need to hear how Lane addresses the way he views football.
How do you feel about it though? Do you feel? I think they could have lost Lane and Jason Kelsey if they'd won the Super Bowl.
I think there's a very good chance of that. Luckily, though, they've put parameters in to replace Kelsey. Lane probably. I mean, if they had lost Lane, the 10th overall pick is set.
And I believe
10th overall pick is an offensive tackle.
I believe they were losing both of them if they'd won the Super Bowl.
And I think they would have been okay with not okay.
Kelsey,
but they were in a very good position had they lost Lane Johnson to replace him because they had the 10th overall pick.
Correct. But I really believe that that's what they were staring at. Ugh. I mean, and it doesn't, that's where I'll go. Okay, there you go.
It makes sense, though. Lane Johnson was tight with Brandon Brooks, who retired early, who had the anxiety, which Lane Johnson also deals with. It's a very similar career trajectory to what Brandon Brooks went through, so you can see it.
What it does tell me, though, is, Bob, is both of those guys think I could go out on top, that they feel that they could go out on top.
Yeah. You're probably not wrong in that if they had won last year, the two of them may have run off in the sunset together.
And when you hear Jeff's podcast, you really, because I thought Kelsey would have retired if they won.
Yeah, I think it seems like they were more believing that Kelsey would be out after the last year, no matter what, because picking Cam Jurgens like they did. With the Lane Johnson thing, where you are right here and right now, so close to maybe garnering a championship. Nah, I ain't doing backups right now. I'll approach that situation when it comes. Or maybe second round, third round, there's a guy there that might be a little bit of a project or whatever that you see could be the future of after Lane Johnson retires. But this year with everything the way it is right now, I am not going. God, I hope they don't go backup offensive lineman. No.
You would have been like, nah, we're not doing that one.
No.
We're not going that route. By the way, I wanted to get to something here because, Pat, it involves something we talked about yesterday, was the running backs over 30. And whether you would be into a running back over 30 being an Eagles pick, going out and trading for one of the best backs, Derrick Henry, one of the best backs in the NFL, which sort of gives him it's a different status. As far as whether you would have gone with whether you'd be interested in Derrick Henry. What I was shocked at is the amount of running backs who will be his age this year who have rushed for 1,000 yards. It's small. I mean, it's really small.
Mm-hmm. So give me the list.
How about this?
Peterson's got to be one.
I'll give you the one. Adrian Peterson in 2018. 1,042 yards. Then we go to Frank Gore in 2016. He rushed for 1,025 yards. Then I have to go all the way back to 2009.
What team?
Jets.
To 2009.
Not the Penn State guy.
Oh, LaDainian Tomlinson.
No, Thomas Jones.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I had him on my fantasy team.
Thomas Jones in 2009, 1,402 yards. Just for numbers for you here. There, in the history of the NFL, you have had 3 guys over the age of 30 or above rush for 1,500 yards. Walter Payton did it in 1985. Tiki Barber did it in 2006. And Curtis Martin did it in 2004. Those are the only 3. If I take you to 1,300 yards or more, it only adds 4 more guys. Thomas Jones, who I told you about. John Riggins back in 83. Walter Payton in 86. And Tony Dorsett in 85. So in the modern era, guys are not rushing over the age of 30. Guys are not successful over 30.
Yeah.
Warwick Dunn rushed for 1,140 yards at the age of 30 in 2006.
Okay.
It's Frank Gore. It's Adrian Peterson.
Yep.
Within the past 10 years, those are the only 2.
And it'll be Derrick Henry next year.
So Derrick Henry be next year.
Yep.
Is there? This is a large.
Derrick Henry's in that category of just backs that. I'm not saying Father Time won't defeat, but Father Time is having a tougher time defeating. He's a special running back.
That he's a special guy. Frank Gore, by the way, on that list. Frank Gore was a beast.
Yeah.
Absolutely a beast.
Couldn't take a Wonderlic test, but he was a beast.
But we learned that
he was
about
a monster.
What's he, the 4th time all-time leading rusher?
I think he's 3rd.
Is he 3rd?
He's either 2nd or 3rd. But that's a guy that played a very similar style to Derrick Henry.
Here are the guys, though, again, the seasons that they did it. And these are the only guys that have done it. Since 1932, so NFL stats. The seasons where somebody 30 years old rushed for 1,000 yards. 2004, 2006, 2009, 2000. There were 2 guys. There were 2 guys in 2006. It's like it didn't happen. And in the last decade, only 2 players have done it.
Priest Holmes didn't do it?
Priest Holmes is not on the list.
Oh, that's surprising. He turns 29 next year. He'll be.
So you're just is the idea though is
next year he'll be 1,000-yard back after that.
Well, if you're telling me this, if you could get Derrick Henry without giving him a new contract, what if that's what the Titans said to you to move from 11 to 10?
So
the points charts work. The point charts work because it's like a 5th-round pick.
So I'm moving back 1 spot and I'm getting Derrick Henry?
Yes.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
You're taking $10.1 million. On the points chart, you could do that move for a 3rd-day draft pick, a 4th or a 5th rounder. Howie could take on that salary, so I believe it would be a 5th.
Yeah, I'm running to the phone.
And but are you giving him an extension on the contract?
How many years are left?
1.
Just next year's his contract?
Yep. Because I think if you get Derrick Henry and you say he wants a new contract. So that's what I'm saying. They are not. You'd have to give him a contract, right?
That's fine. All right, so you give him a 3-year extension. In 3 years, is he going to be cooked?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I'd be okay with that 3-year extension. Look, we would all take the younger guy, the less tread, all of that. He's a known commodity. Our argument yesterday was more of would he fit scheme and all that. I'll take him. I'll take him in a heartbeat. I just think he could open up defenses for Jalen Hurts like nobody's business. Now, you're talking about a guy that isn't single-handedly tackled. He's got to be tackled with 1, 2, sometimes 3 guys. He's got elite speed on top of that. This is a whole new ball game offensively if you put somebody like that in the backfield. And you can adjust. You can adjust your RPOs with straight handoffs and straight dropbacks and all of that stuff. because that's what this Eagles team does. So, I'd think long and hard about it. I think I'm with Pat. I think I'd go with it.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who had 1,900 total yards.
And he's
all right.
I got you. It's 1932. We're not talking about a small sample size. We're talking about this is a large sample. Would give him a contract extension too.
Yeah.
That's the one I couldn't get over.
The best running back in the league.
We will talk to Tommy Green coming up and Kate Scott in the 9 o'clock hour. John Kincaid.
Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Appreciate you hanging out with us, being a part of the show. Tell your family, tell your friends. And want you to know that when someone gets hurt, we all know who to call. But what about a mental health crisis? The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers free confidential support around the clock. Don't hesitate. Call 988. Pat, when you bring J-Roll to the vet, do you get to go in?
No.
When did this start?
I don't know.
Like, is this a new thing or is this a Pennsylvania thing? Like, today, my wife got told, well, you get to bring the dog into your vet visit today. It's her first vet visit. But from now on, you just drive up and we come out and get the dog and bring him in and do everything to it. Is this a Pennsylvania rule? Because you said right away, no, you don't.
No.
Coach?
I don't think it's weird.
I've never heard of this. Not bringing your animal into the thing. Bob, do you bring the dog into the vet's office, or do you pull up in the parking lot?
No, we take
your dog over?
No, I take the dog in.
What is that? Like, it's really weird.
Yeah, take him in. I remember one time he pooped in the middle of aisle 4. I had to clean up on aisle 4.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Hey,
sometimes those things happen.
These are the kind of things, the deep issues we get into here in the 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by the Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag at your stay in Home Depot and Lowe's. For details, go to Bagster.com. Tommy Green in studio with us.
Well,
what's up, Tommy?
Good morning. I mean,
Tommy, you have a dog?
I'm gonna chime in about the vet thing.
Uh-huh.
That started when COVID was the big.
So
thing.
that's what it is.
That's what I remember. I mean, I haven't took our dog to the vet in a while. I don't think my wife has either. But I remember when we had to, when he went through an issue, they come out and got him. That's when it started. We used to take him in. And
I've never heard of this in my life. Not taking your dog inside to the vet.
That was a COVID thing for us.
Yeah, Tommy's right, I think. Yeah, that all started
during
then.
COVID.
Yeah, because COVID changed a lot of things. Got real weird for a while.
Oh, yes. No question about that.
Yeah, but what does bringing your, like now at this point, it's 2023. Why can't I bring my dog into the vet and be with your dog? It just seems strange.
People still, there are
new
rules. I don't know if there's any rules or not. It might be a place by place type thing.
Could be.
Yeah, people still get a little freaky about that stuff. So.
Little freaky, and people are freaky about their dogs.
That's amazing. Sometimes, I mean, they're like children with some people. And it's because some people didn't have it, especially the companionship, the friendship. You got something that doesn't talk back to you. Type thing.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's
unconditional love.
Unconditional love. I mean, they'll keep coming back no matter what.
That is the truth, though, right?
Yeah.
You get a loyal dog.
Amazing.
I got to tell you, I don't know the last time I walked into my house and my kids started running up to me and hugging me and stuff like that, but my dog does it every day. Right after she gets done barking and I open the door, then the tail starts wagging. She wants me to pet her.
It's amazing. It makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
You wish your kids did that. I mean.
Sometimes.
Pat, do you find J-Roll still gives you all that attention?
Yeah, he's cool. Everybody else in my house, no, they ignore the hell out of me when I come in.
Now, does your cat give you attention or no?
Cat?
Only when I wake up because I have to feed Cat Burl. And Cat Burl. Cat Burl, and then
and J-Roll.
Yep, J-Roll and Cat Burl.
Oh my God!
And then around, you play your cards right, Tommy. There might be a turtle named after you.
That fits me,
Tommy the turtle. But around dinner time, all of a sudden she remembers that I exist, and she comes up.
Because cats are relatively evil.
They're not.
So that's
evil.
good.
I tell you what, cats. I mean, I've had one, and it ended up loving me because I fed it, but everybody else, they were just creepy sometimes. They sneaky. I mean, I don't understand how to say it. But
Coach is a cat person.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Coach, I mean, you're a cat person.
No, you can ask Tommy to leave now.
Well, don't get me wrong. We saved the cat. It was a stray. I mean,
okay.
it could fit in my hand when we first found it. My wife found it underneath the car when it was raining, where she parked at in the parking lot. It was underneath the wheel. It got out of the rain. It could fit in my hand when she brought it home. So we saved it, and it must have been through a lot because
So it had to
real
learn.
friendly, yeah.
I had to learn a little bit about this. By the way, Kirk Kelly checks in.
What's up, Kurt?
Kirk, appreciate Kirk checking in. He says that his vet does the same thing now since COVID, and they will not let anyone in the doors.
Yep.
And Kirby checks in. Kirby Jackson. Hi, Kirby. She says it's from COVID that they won't let you bring your dog in anymore.
It's unbelievable.
It's just it seems weird that you can't bring your dog into the vet.
They must have discovered something. Like maybe, like I said, I took my dog in and it got scared, so he pooped all over. Maybe these people know how to handle dogs a little bit better. They don't have accidents. Or
you look at things. The way the world went when COVID hit, you got a lot of people that it was working remotely from home, and things are still like that a lot. People are, but the human contact is not as people talking to each other face to face is not as much as it used to be, I think.
Plus, it's different, too. It was different the way it was handled.
Yeah.
Before I had come home, I never missed a day of going to work.
Yeah.
We went to work every day. The radio station, everybody went to work.
Yeah.
And here, it was different. Like, everybody handled it differently. But in 2023, it just seems a little strange. Can't bring your dog in. I mean, come on now. Hey, now, the Phillies aren't strange, though. The Phillies are feeling good. 11-12. They've stabilized things, Tommy.
Positive vibes.
We're talking about it this morning. At 11-12, there's so much positivity around the Phillies, at least on this show. And maybe we're being a little overly optimistic because they're not. The record's not very good, but we feel very good about what we're seeing.
I mean, they're playing very good. Look at the difference between last week and this past week and the week before. 2-5 and 5-2. Or something like that. I know this passed from Tuesday to Tuesday was 5-2. You win 5-2 all the time. You're going to you're in the big time postseason. So they're playing good ball. And I was looking at some stuff before. And their batting average for just total, they're like third in baseball. This past week they were a little down more. They're like 13th. They're like 235, I think, for total for the year, like 276. They're third. I mean. You can't ask for any better than that. I mean, and it ebbs and flows over the course of the season. Hitters picking pitchers up, pitchers getting hot and picking the hitters up type thing, and that's what we got to have. And they found ways to do some things. The hitters come back from this past week with some couple early home runs that we gave up as a pitching staff, and come back and scored, and we won games like that. So, which is great. I mean, it's a lot of positive vibes going.
What's that do for the mentality of a starting pitcher, Tommy, when you have – all right, Wheeler goes out there, has a great first 3 innings, gets rocked around in the 4th, hits a batter with the base loaded, couldn't really find the strike zone, goes out for the 5th, fine, and then Thompson goes with him again in the 6th, even though he had a lot of pitches accumulated already. But he said, no, go out there. You're my ace. Give me 6, 111 pitches. Fine. Is that good for a starting pitcher this early in the season, you think?
It's not early anymore. It wasn't early when you start the season. You got to be ready to go the way he went.
That's a good way of looking at it.
That's the way I look at it.
That went Tommy Green for pitching coach.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing that going. Yeah, he struggled. You have those times where you struggle in that inning and stuff, and you hopefully minimize it. It kind of got out of hand a little bit where he hit the guy, really cost him. I mean, he could have got out of that maybe before giving up 3 runs. You start throwing up crooked numbers in an inning. That's when it hurts.
Yeah.
No solo homers or anything like that, or giving up a run in an inning doesn't kill you. And you can give up like 3 innings in a row, give up a run, and then pitch 4 innings of no-run baseball and pitch 7 innings, 3 runs. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a solid start.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pitching in the big leagues. Not everybody has a 2-something ERA. People don't know how difficult it is to have to stay below a 4, ERA in the big leagues. It's unbelievable. So those guys who have career like Kershaw and some of those guys, DeGrom, have career 2-something. That's amazing.
It's ridiculous in today's day and age.
It's ridiculous. So, I mean, we're doing some positive things. It's great to see that we're getting to the point now during the season they're stretching out like that, which is good. I mean, because Nola and Wheeler are their guys, so they got to be able to go. We got to have it. The bullpen got used a lot early.
Yeah.
In that first week or two. And it's, and now they've caught hold, and it's great to see what they're doing in a little bit. And now the starters are kind of lengthening out, giving you 6-7 innings, and it's a good thing. Guys get a day off, and that day off is huge sometimes.
Tommy Green brought to us by the Siren ETF Trust, distributor Foresight Financial Services, LLC. Good folks, Tommy? Real good folks?
Oh, yeah.
They're good folks?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Check.
Matter of fact, I'm supposed to be playing golf with Scott.
I figured you'd be playing golf with
Well,
That's
I've
great.
been battling a little bit of a back thing, but once I get loose, it's okay. But I'm gonna knock on wood on that. But I kind of battle with it in the mornings a little bit. I called it old itis. Maybe that's what it is.
When we've been celebrating the Marsh-Bohm Stott triumvirate of really the three youngsters are leading this team and are their best offensive players.
How about that?
Are you worried about the sample size of how much we've seen them?
Well, I mean, it's just like anything. It's great to see. I mean, the young guys at the end of last year, what they were doing, you could see the trend with Stott, especially the second half of the year with him, the way he worked at bats, what he did, the confidence was coming. He kind of went back to the approach like he did, spread out a little bit. I think Segura was the one that really told him. And
yeah, because when he went with two strikes, that's what he did. He went no stride.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, he linked that, and that approach is great. I mean, it's unbelievable. You find something that works sometimes, That's why I couldn't believe he started jacking around during spring training with something else. But it's just like everybody. It's just like golfers or anything like that. I mean, why would Tiger Woods change his swing when he won like 8 times in 1 year? I mean, unless there was a physical issue going on, that you're changing. But I mean, I'm always under the thing. People try to get better. They want to be better than the year before, no matter what they did. And sometimes you kind of mess up the process a little bit, and then the gray matter comes into play. And when the gray matter comes into play, sometimes it can mess you really up.
Do you think relievers do it more than starters? Because we were talking earlier about how relievers, so many times you look at their careers. Brad Lidge was one. Kimbrel seems to be another one. Up and down years. 1 year good, 1 year down. Next year good, next year down. Is there approach differences?
No, I don't think so. Mitch, I remember I pitched with Mitch Williams. Mitch used to think, hey, we got to dumb down. Don't think too much. Just go out there and do. I mean, and that's the thing about being a good reliever. I mean, you mess up one day, you could be right back in there the next day. So you got to learn. I mean, you got to forget what happened. That's and the good guys at the end. That's what they've done. That's what made Kimbrel. And all the guys that's been around for that long. Good. That's what they do well. They're able to forget and it's you're going to make mistakes. They're not afraid to make the mistakes. And guys, I think, that get really in trouble are scared to make the mistakes or more, iffy. And then they start leaving stuff over the plate because you're trying to be too fine. They fall behind early in the count more so. And that's when you're playing with danger right there.
Thursday night, a bunch of players around the country are going to hear their name called, and they will forever be known as first-round picks.
How about that?
In the NFL draft. Mm-hmm. You smile at that.
Yep.
The level of accomplishment that a first-round pick feels, do you find was there a status symbol in baseball other than to be first-round pick?
Well, yeah.
Being able to use that because it seems like it's pretty amazing.
Well, I mean, it shows you what you're. I mean, I know with as far as my case, I was a first-round pick with Atlanta back in the day. I mean, you feel honored that somebody considers you in that type of talent, but also you feel so good about it because what the effort that it took. Not that I was trying to be a first-round pick. I was trying to get a college education. Because my parents couldn't afford it. It was what I could do for myself, to work hard and do it for all the work you've done to be recognized. You're like you were being recognized for what you've done well type thing. That's what I took from it, pride. And then once you get in, like the organization, it's about, okay, you're the bonus baby. You're the first-round pick. You're like.
Are you treated better? Because no?
No, if anything, you're I know in my case was being the young guy because I come out of high school. It was Leo Mazzoni's my pitching coach. Then you're Leo's boy.
Oh, on who picked? On who picked you? And who developed you? Right?
Or who's your guy? Because Leo was, he I don't want to say he'd take care to me, but he was always he expected me to be better. He wanted me to be. He expected and wanted me to be better. So. He would pay attention to me. You know what I mean?
So
that thing. It was that thing. He saw the talent, I think, and he challenged me. And then there's other time he could give you. I mean, that's what makes a good coach, I think. And the difference between the old school and what I think the old school, it could be really tough on guys and not give that pat on the back. But I think a good coach is willing to get on guys, not just get on guys, but give the guy the pat on back when they do stuff well. So I mean,
the first round pick, though, I wonder with these guys who are going to get picked in the NFL.
Yeah,
it makes it. I mean, the mental pressure must be there to justify what they.
Yeah,
where they picked you.
Okay, it's like that. It's just like getting signing a free agent contract. Look at Castellanos last year. I mean, a lot of people thought he might even said something, about the new city. People take that because they want to earn and they want to be approval for that money. I mean, it is. Johnny Padres put it to me one time. Not that I made a stupid amount of money. But one year they paid me, and when I got hurt, it was like you feel like you're stealing money, and I didn't like that. I mean, I didn't work that way. I didn't grow up that way. And the way Johnny put it to me, he says, Tommy, he says, you've made them more money than they can pay you, And this was after I got hurt.
That's a great way of looking at it.
That's interesting.
After the '93 season and stuff like that, after I got hurt later, he says, for what they're paying you, you've made them more money. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Right.
And it kind of helped that, but it didn't take it away. It's the pride in the person. Sometimes people take pride. I mean, people take that pride, and it can be a detriment sometimes because it kind of rules you, but you got to kind of say, hey, you kind of look at it and it kind of softens the blow a little bit. It allows you to get through it better because it can get to you mentally a little bit, especially if you're hurt or you let it consume you. I'm making all this money. How do I live up to it type thing? And that's what you got to get out. Sometimes you got to talk to people about it, and it's okay to get that out.
We've seen Wheeler and Nola do a little bit of turning, as we talked about earlier, getting a little better, looking more like themselves now. Have you noticed anything in particular with their pitching? Wheeler just went on Sunday, 11 strikeouts. Obviously had something going really well. What do you
unbelievable stuff. I mean, we hit on this in the past. It's all about command of the fastball with those two guys, and especially with Wheeler, he's got more juice and more giddy than Nola does. So the fact when Nola misses and gets, to me sometimes it looks like he gets under balls because of the way he throws.
Right,
His motion, his ball flattens out a little bit. But if he's falling behind or he's missing it like over the plate too much, you're gonna make mistakes. It's all about getting away with your mistakes sometimes. It's like I go back to golf all the time. As long as you have a second shot and get a chance at it, you're good. If you hit the ball in the water, you don't have.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So as long as you can play your ball in, it's the same way pitching. As long as your mistakes are in better areas, you got a chance to survive, and that's the key. You're starting to see that a little bit more, I think, and they're pitching more like when they're at their A game more. It's trending in the right direction because you can't be perfect all the time. I mean, it's an imperfect sport, man.
Hey, we head into the final stretch of the morning presented by Stretch Zone. If you want to relieve sore muscles, Tommy Green, increase your flexibility, Tommy Green, and your range of motion, book a free 30-minute stretch session. I'll pay for it. It's free. Go to StretchZone.com. Get yourself stretched out, Tommy.
Well,
help that golf game.
I might have to ease into that. Maybe it might help me.
Let's get on in there. Go to StretchZone.com. We'll talk to Kate Scott. Sixers voice coming up next. John Kincaid Show here on 9.
to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on The Fanatic. Appreciate you being a part of the show. Tommy Green joins us thanks to the Siren ETF Trust, distributor Foresight Financial Services, LLC. And I want to tell you that if your basement or crawl space smells musty or has watermarks on the block walls, you need to get a completely free home inspection from the experts. Call BQ Basements and Concrete because the problem will only get worse. Don't ignore it. Bob, what do you got for us before we get to Kate Scott?
Yeah, so John Clark came out with a tweet. I got to find it here. That said what I had said earlier about the Ramona Shelbourne thing.
Okay.
So Clark got a source that confirms Joel Embiid has a sprained LCL. He may have to wear a brace for the knee when he returns. There's some hope that he can. Yeah, let's sing. There's some hope he can play towards the beginning of the Sixers' second-round series, but will be playing through a knee injury. All right, he's going to wear a brace. He'll be out there for game. I don't see any way he's not out there for LCL. Now, an LCL is your lateral collateral ligament.
Oh.
Yeah, did you ever have anything on that, Tommy?
I had an MCL, but I don't have any,
It causes pain, swelling, and bruising. Your LCL is a band of tissue located on the outside of your knee. The tissue connects your lower leg bones to your thigh bone.
Well, that sounds a little scary as we approach the next round of the playoffs. Kate Scott joins us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. So, Kate, first of all, have you ever hurt your LCL back in your playing day?
Guys, it's great to be on with you this morning. I'm ready to go. Give me the knee brace. I can give us at least 3 good minutes out there. Just let me at the frickin' Celtics. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. I'm glad to be with you. And I'll tell you, Kate, is that it seems like a lot of people are very, very confident that nothing is going to keep Joel Embiid off the court. That he's not going to be. And you've seen him all year long. You've been around him all year long.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I am going to side with those folks this morning. I think all of us who watched this year, which I know is all of you, and I'm sure most of your listeners, saw a slightly different Joel Embiid than we've seen in the past, where he was playing through a lot of stuff before the All-Star break. I was surprised he played in the All-Star game, but he wanted to play in that as well. I think he realized a couple years ago that if he wanted to get that MVP, which, knock on wood, I hope that he's very close to getting in a couple of days or a week. If he wants to do what he's talked about, lead his team to a championship, it's going to take things like this. It's going to take strapping on a knee brace and playing through pain and just trying to figure out a way to put that aside and lead your team to the mountaintop. So obviously not the news any of us want to hear, but what he's shown me this year and towards the end of last season, I'm confident that the big fella will be out there doing work.
Obviously, we look at the Brooklyn series with an eye towards winning that series and what you have to do to get through that series. But there was a couple of things that Doc Rivers threw out there that were a little different. And the rotations were what they were. But he also threw out that matchup zone for a little while. And I wondered how much of it maybe he was looking towards the Boston Celtics. Did you get that feeling at all, Kate?
I'm assuming that was a large part of it, yeah. I mean, the things you want to do in the first round are build your confidence, find things that are going to work moving forward in the postseason, be resilient, like the Sixers showed multiple times, and just kind of shore up everything because, as P.J. Tucker said after the series, as pretty much every fan has said, like, now the playoffs begin, right? Now the real playoffs begin in the second round because the Sixers have gotten here a number of times. Now things get real. So I thought the Sixers did everything they needed to do in the first round. And I think the matchup zone, I think a couple of other rotations that they might have thrown in there on the offensive side of things, just things you didn't really see in the regular season. Wanted to show flashes of them in the first round just to see how they might work and give Doc and the Sixers coaching staff and obviously the Celtics coaching staff something to think about going into round 2.
What's something that surprised you that maybe you didn't expect to see in the first round that you did, getting to call the games and getting to see it up close and personal?
Yeah. I think it's a great reminder, a couple of things, John. A great reminder of how important it was that the Sixers swept the Nets. I mean, you look on paper and you say, they're more talented. This Nets team, could be really good in a couple years because they've got some good pieces. But the Sixers should sweep this series. But then actually going out and doing it is so difficult because the physicality and the intensity and the mental focus needed to win a playoff game, it's just night and day. That's why when people say it's a whole new season, it's a totally different ball game, like all the cliches, it's so true. So for those of you who weren't able to get to one of the games at the Wells Fargo Center or up in Brooklyn, like it's just a totally different level of exhaustion, physically and mentally. So I was reminded of that being up close and personal watching those 4 games. So I think it is paramount that the Sixers were the first team to start playing and the first team to get out of playing, and now they get this week off to rest. And then I think the rebounding, which I'm sure is something that you guys have talked about.
Yes.
I'm looking at the stats. So Paul Reed and PJ Tucker combined to grab 28 offensive rebounds in the series. The entire Nets team had 23. So I think that was huge because I know it was a point of emphasis all season that shocking. When the Sixers win the rebounding battle, they most of the time win the game, right? It's one of those things that goes back to high school. Oftentimes, if you get more opportunities or you limit the other team's opportunities, you're going to win the game. The Sixers had 30 more possessions than the Nets in the first round. Like, those are the little things that are going to pay off. And then also getting Tyrese Maxey going, because I know we all know he has struggled a bit against the Celtics this season, which I think all of us are assuming is going to be the second-round opponent at this point. But Tyrese was 15 of 30 from three-point range. So I think him getting going, seeing the ball go through the hoops so many times in so many different ways, I just thought there was so much good to come out of that first round for the Sixers.
Yeah, Kate, Tommy Green here, and I wanted you're the expert. Now, I watch a little bit, but I wanted to chime back in on Embiid a little bit and what you see, like when he is out, not in the lineup, what you see in the other teammates of his, what changes? Does anything change in their demeanor, their approach? Because I know with him out, I mean, they seemed like they stepped up a little bit and did some things. Over the course of your experience with him, what have you seen with that team like that?
Yeah, wasn't that fantastic?
Yes.
Great question, Tommy. I mean, he, in my opinion, is the most valuable player in the league this year, and yet still the team, after the win on Saturday in Game 4 without him, improved to 12-5 on the season without him. And I think that speaks to the depth of his team. I think that they actually become incredibly difficult to figure out when he's not on the floor because he is such a focal point of the opponent's game plan that all of a sudden when he's not there, it's almost like the Nets before the trade deadline, and the Sixers are just a completely different team. And I think on Sunday or Saturday, it feels like it was Sunday, the guys, and Tommy, you can speak to whether this matters or not, but I'm one of the people who's of the mind that chemistry and really loving the guys you're playing with and really wanting to succeed for them, I think he saw that. The fact that Tobias got going, I thought James Harden called, as Doc Rivers is saying with the baseball analogy, called another close to perfect game with the way he got different guys involved. I don't think we're talking enough about DeAnthony Melton coming off the bench. I mean, DeAnthony was he was plus 24 in that wild, wacky Game 3 when James got ejected. And then hit 3 more threes in Game 4 and had 3 steals. I mean, he has been huge off the bench for the Sixers. So I think that obviously you want Joel Embiid out there because he's, again, the best player in the NBA in my opinion. But in a way, it's kind of confusing for the other team when he's not because then you still have a ton of talent, but you don't have it all focused around this big dude. Now you've got all these guys who can shoot and feel more comfortable because they don't have to get Embiid 30 touches a game or whatever it may be. So it's obviously a very different look, but I think one of the positives to come out of having Joel have to sit for a little while early in the season, James and Tyrese have to sit a little bit early in the season. All the guys who are now needed, if those guys are out, they have the confidence in themselves that they can do it, and their teammates have the confidence in them that they can do it as well. So, we talked about it because we didn't really know what else to say in November and December when all those guys were out. Well, this could be a positive way down the road, but now, Tommy, I think we're actually seeing that it is because all these guys believe in themselves and their teammates believe in them too.
Kate, you saw 4 games against the Boston Celtics this season, and I know when you see a team that many times, you get good feelings about them, about what they're about, what they do. That causes the Sixers, not to play all that well. What is it? What do you come away with against the Celtics that you say, the Sixers need to change this in order to win the series?
Well, I think Tyrese needs to get going because he can be an X factor. Same with Tobias Harris, as we saw. And, looking back at the 4 games that we played against the Celtics this season, I'm actually throwing out the first couple because the first one was a season opener. And the Sixers at that point had a brand new guy in the starting lineup in P.J. Tucker. It was DeAnthony Melton's first game with the Sixers as well. Meanwhile, the Celtics are coming off the run all the way to the NBA Finals. So I'm giving the Celtics that one. Second game, we saw them in Boston, and nobody played for the Celtics, so that was kind of similar to what I was just talking about with the Sixers when Joel is out. I'm knocking that one off. So the 2 I'm really looking at are the third and fourth games. The third one was Jason Tatum hitting that running game winner at the end of the game here on Broad Street. And then game 4 was Joel going off for 50-plus and leading the Sixers to the win. So in my opinion, they split the season series a game apiece. But yeah, I think the other guys really need to get going for the Sixers because I have no doubt that Joel and James will be able to find their rhythm and get going. But the reason the Celtics are so good, and in my opinion, the best team in the NBA, is because all of their other guys get going at a more consistent basis, right? They've got the 6th man of the year in Malcolm Brogdon. They've got one of the best defenders in the league in Marcus Smart. They've got a guy who couldn't play basketball when he was with the Sixers, but suddenly has rediscovered his stroke in Al Horford. So I think they're the deepest team, and their bench is the most consistent. I think the Sixers have the pieces. Now it's up to the other guys who aren't James and Joel to get going and find their consistency, and then do the little things that we were just talking about in the first round. Rebound the basketball, limit the Celtics' opportunities, play defense. The Sixers, again, I know they're just the Nets, didn't have as much talent as the Sixers, but they held them below 101 points in all 4 games. They held them below 90 in 2 of the 4 games. Like, that's old school basketball. So if the Sixers can somehow maintain that focus on defense, maintain the focus on the glass, and then get a couple of other guys going, I think this could be an epic second-round series.
I'm a little worried about you, though.
A little worried?
Yeah, because I'm wondering.
Join the club, Johnny.
I know your energy, and I know the energy that you bring as a person. How are you going to watch the second-round series? Because I can't imagine you just watching because your energy is put into broadcasting games. You've gotten to take this team all the way to this point, and now it's like, okay, we're done. Now you're done, and you just got to watch just like all of us.
Oh, I know. It's so weird. And see, NBC knew that, John, and because they didn't want me to get fired for, like, profanity-laced Twitter threads or chugging beers on, like, Instagram Lives, they asked me yesterday, they said, hey, Kate, would you like to go to Boston for the first couple of games, if that is indeed the case, which I think we're all assuming it will be at this point, and be our reporter, because we're going to keep doing pre- and post-game live.
I love it.
After every game. So they said, I think it'll keep you out of trouble. It'll keep you focused. Will allow you to put that energy into the broadcasting.
No, Tommy's laughing. Tommy's laughing at the idea that you have to be kept out of trouble. I am not. Tommy's laughing. I'm not.
John knows me better, Tommy. Exactly.
Well, I can't wait to get to know you.
Hey, Kate, enjoy the second round. We'll be watching on NBC Sports Philadelphia. We love you, and we'll check in with you soon, all right?
Love you guys back. Thanks for having me on today. Go Sixers.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Kate.
Kate Scott joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business, it takes you through everything you need. It's what's next. Kate did morning radio, morning sports talk radio, just like this show for years in San Francisco.
Okay.
And did play-by-play
as
her side hustle.
Yeah.
But Kate Scott has no problem hanging with the guys, causing trouble. And I can tell you, I'd worry for her not being able to. I can't imagine these broadcasters, like Tom McCarthy during the Phillies run last year. Oh, yeah, Tom, you did a great job all year. Every Phillies fan has watched every game with you. But now we have to watch an outsider call the games, and we don't get to see you do it. I think the rules suck.
I do, too.
I think it really does suck.
Oh, I equate it to when I was covering the Sixers all those years. If they had a long playoff run, all of a sudden they took me off covering the team when I'd been with them every day over, since the beginning of the season.
Why would they do that?
It's weird. I don't know. I should ask. I forgot to ask Kate. I don't know if ESPN or whoever the powers that be have a hold over the local media.
Oh, they do, by the way. Yeah. I did read that.
Yeah, so it does suck.
It does.
You wish you had those guys on somehow that they could get you. Maybe we can have them come in here and just call the game from here watching on TV.
I was wondering, could you do a bootleg Manning cast? Or would you get in trouble?
Yeah, probably.
Like, you'd probably get in trouble.
Yeah.
The franchises would get in trouble.
Yeah.
But the idea of getting to that point, you've been with a team all year long. You know the broadcasters. I mean, they become part of the fabric.
They deserve the right. I mean, they're part of the team, if you ask me, because they travel with you and they're part of the everyday grind.
Yeah.
You know, on the road, they're traveling and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden you say, "Well, you can't be a part." You know, it's sort of like. You know, some of the guys that's been with you part of the season are left off the playoff roster. That hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts.
I can see that.
That kind of stuff hurts. But.
All right, I've got a couple people here with a sprained LCL, Bob.
Oh, yeah?
Saying the sprained LCL, that it is one of the more manageable pains to deal with in a knee injury. And this is a doctor who is involved, in fact, he does not want me to give his name, but he is with Rothman Orthopedics. Oh. He says it is one of the more manageable when you've got a good training staff to be able to attack. The problem will be the morning after, the first day of real exertion, the swelling and everything. He says, I wouldn't be shocked if we heard about Joel Embiid playing in game 1 and being questionable for game 2.
Especially if they win game 1.
Because they have no idea. They have no idea what the swelling and everything's going to be like.
Yeah.
But the strained LCL is one that can be properly, it's one of the better ones. It's better than straining your MCL.
Yeah, I could see that.
So,
I know when I did mine, I had a 3rd-degree sprain. But
what's that mean?
It was
stretched pretty good to the point of tearing.
It was basically hanging on by
a thread. Yeah,
by a piece. And there was nothing really they could do. It was enough where they just got to let it heal. But I know when I did it, my knee was shifty. It would go. It would move. No. It was bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can walk straight lines, and you can kind of look okay.
You try to go left or you try to go. No, that doesn't work.
So it's like the landing thing. We're talking about Embiid in the landing again, which, Bob, you've talked about as long as I've known you, is that his ability to go up and land properly has been a problem, and I wonder if that's just part of this.
Here's what I equated it to back in the day when he first started playing with the team after his injuries, and I was covering him. Imagine, all right, we go into a court and we shoot layups. Okay, no problem. All right, imagine if we put on shoes that had 4-inch soles on them. Now you're jumping, and the way you're landing is going to be so different because you're coming down before you think you're going to come down.
Yeah.
Because you're used to. Well, the last time he played basketball, he was 6'9". When he came back to play with the Sixers, he's either 7 foot or 7'2". Some people at the team call him 7'2", whatever. That's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he ever learned how to land properly when he was fully grown, and it took him time. And I think his legs took a lot of. A lot of
catching up to your body.
I mean, I do. I honestly, that was one of my things. I asked a lot of trainers around the league about that. Some of them said, "Oh, you might be onto something." Other ones laughed in my face, but I don't know.
Well, you think about it. Somebody, I mean, you growing that much, and things sort of get gangly and out of control a little bit. And I grew a lot. I grew from like 5'6.5", 5'7" my freshman year in high school. Into my 8th grade year, when I got out of 8th in June, by January I was 6'2".
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
you went to 5'6" to 6'2"?
Yeah, 5.5, something, 5, 6.5 to right at 6'2".
In less than 4 years?
No, less than
3 years.
It was like months.
It was like that's
incredible.
From June, but my weight came with me. It's not that I got string and gangly.
Okay.
I mean, I was 180 pounds by January, but it came with me.
How did you put so much weight on, though?
I didn't put much. It just came with me.
You just filled out.
Yeah, I was filling out. It was just, and then I grew up right at an inch every year to my senior year, and that was it.
That's those big country breakfasts, Bob.
Oh, it wasn't. Hey, no shying away from the table, my man.
And not when you're growing like that.
But I was active. I was so active. I mean, I played basketball, football. I mean, it just came with me. I was a solid guy.
What was the go-to like mom's meal that you couldn't?
It was everything. I mean, fried chicken was the best. But my dad was a steak guy. He loved to cook a good steak on the grill, but we'd have fish fries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's all. But the thing about you back home, North Carolina, you talk about fried food.
Oh yeah.
Sooner or later, that catches up with you. Hence
Sure.
the heart, the cholesterol, medication you take now, and all that kind of stuff.
But it catches up.
Oh, I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Or genetic side of it, whichever one.
Exactly, right? The Embiid thing is fascinating because when I started this conversation years ago, we're talking 6-7 years ago, when we were watching a practice, they're like, wow, he's not a really good jumper. And I said, yeah, he's a worse lander. And think about that.
That has to be part of this.
It does. It was amazing. Like watching him come down off of when he had to jump high, go for a rebound, which we rarely see from him.
Yes.
And I'm not putting him down. He's the great player. That's not his game. We've talked about it endlessly. He's a finesse player. When he has to play a power game, that's a little less on the shelf than the finesse game. But when he goes up, you watch. That's why he falls so much. He often comes down awkwardly. There's like a natural bend, and Tommy, you know this as well as anybody from follow through and pitching. There's just a natural bend to your knees when you come down because there's give and take, and it's the give.
Athletic.
Yeah. He comes down straight an awful lot, like his legs are.
And that's gotta hurt you.
That hurt.
Yeah.
You said the word. That hurts thinking about that.
Doesn't it? And
the
imagine being
visualization
280.
of that is like.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's just impact, right?
I'm looking at a basketball player, and I look at a guy that size, playing, lower post, rebounding like that. A lot of guys, it comes down to positioning.
Yeah.
What you do before you have to jump. Sometimes it doesn't require you to jump that much if you got the position that you need to have.
Right.
That's the work beforehand. Watching basketball growing up, I wasn't the highest jumper. I got more rebounds than everybody. How do you do that? You work. You have to work before that happens. Yeah.
Pat, you talked about the fact that you're a little concerned about this Seattle series. Could you tell Tommy why?
Yeah, they're good at baseball. Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
They're a big league team, right?
Yes, they get paid to play the sport.
Yeah.
No, they look. You're going up against their top two pitchers, Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, and then Marco Gonzalez doesn't really do much for me. But they're a playoff team. They're a lot tougher than the Rockies. The Rockies were really, really bad, and I think we might have jumped to a conclusion about them winning 3 games against the Rockies. They suck. Seattle's pretty damn good. They're like the Phillies. They haven't hit their stride yet, but they have a good young nucleus. Julio Rodriguez is one of the best in the game. Cal Raleigh's a really good hitting catcher. They have our old friend J.P. Crawford in there. Jared Kelenic is finally starting to look like the guy that they thought they got from the Mets. So they have a really good young nucleus. I don't think they just take 2 or 3 from this team.
Well, obviously you'd like to. You want a sweep. But if we could take 2 out of 3, that would be outstanding because they are a good ball club. And guess what? Everybody's had to go out there and play the game of baseball, which is hit a round ball with a round bat, and they got to make quality pitches. And it's about we got the ability to beat up on some number ones, which we've shown already that we've done that. We could do that. So it's about keeping the game simple and taking advantage of the mistakes that these guys make because you're going to face quality stuff in those 2 guys. Everybody, but the really good stuff in their 1-2 guy. So, it's about taking advantage and playing good baseball, not making the defensive mistakes or the mistakes that we got caught on early in the season that cost us runs and that type of thing. So we just got to play clean baseball, and we should have a quality chance to take this do 2 out of 3 of these games.
Falter, Walker, Strom.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, there's been intriguing things about all 3 of them.
Yes. It's unbelievable. What they've done. You can't ask for any better from your guys down at the bottom of the rotation, the 4 or 5 guys or, to do what they've done. To get and show and it give you a chance to win ball games, and that's all you can ask for those guys to do. And they, Falter's last time he gave up the 3-run homer in the first
beginning, and then
look what
the
7,
right
for 7 innings, and that's all you can ask him is to keep them right there because, if you think you're going to go out there and not give up runs all year long, there's something people are high.
Yeah,
that's the way I think. You got. Okay, that showed me something about him. He kept the team right there, and his team. It's the type of. He had some guts right there to do it. Stay right there. I'm gonna give my team the innings. We need those. I mean, the tenacity. He had that little bit of gut check right there, a little bit, and he rose to that occasion. Showed you a little bit about the man.
Yeah, and if I'm Rob Thompson, I'm telling my starting pitchers, as much as you would love for them to throw scoreless innings, all of that. Look, you have a team behind you that's going to score you 5, 6, 7 runs. Don't worry about the 2, 3 run innings. And I think he did that without saying it. I think he did that with Wheeler on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly on that. I mean, we touched on a little bit with the Sixers and the Phillies. They're where they're at, sort of what Phillies did last year, because of the guys that were down. People stepped up and played like they're capable of playing when the big boys were down a little bit, and that's what's got to happen to get to where they need to get to.
Yeah,
they got to step up. You know, if you got somebody that's taking out, I mean, guys got to take up the slack. You got to play cleaner baseball. You got to play cleaner basketball, and do the little things that makes a difference. I've always been under, even in basketball and baseball and football, defense makes it easier for the offense. If you play solid defense and make a string, and you do a good job against the other team defensively, it makes the offense not have to work as hard. They tend to say, hey, we can get this done. And confidence goes a long way in that.
Okay, sometimes the guys will get on me because I'm too literal. But something bothers me a little bit about, as we're talking about like the Sixers in the NBA playoffs and everything, is that, well, playoff basketball's different. Yeah. The game is played differently. The people come with different energy and more impact. I don't understand it, and as a professional athlete, maybe you can enlighten me, so the regular season products do players go into it with the mindset of they're not playing as intense, they're not playing as hard? Because if everybody's telling me, well, playoff baseball's different, playoff basketball's just different.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing what adrenaline does. The expectations of getting in to the limelight, not that you're not in the limelight every game during the course of the season, because the city's watching. It's the way it's amazing. I've talked about it before. It's the gray matter gets in.
It's in your
play.
head.
It's the pressure. I think the expectations and the pressure you put on yourself, because you know it's the biggest stage. You know it. People are watching. It's not that they're not before, like I said, but that's. I know. I was nervous every game I pitched. You're anxious. You want until you throw that first strike.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. You throw that first strike and it's okay, back to normal.
Baseball, yeah.
Yeah, it's back to normal. And sometimes you get out there and you're amped up and you get out of whack a little bit, and you might go ball 1, ball 2, and you're like, oh, I mean, until you try to find it, but you're amped up. I mean, that adrenaline, I know for me, it helped, especially if you got extra rest. You know, you tend to. I know I was not that.
That's
I tried to overdo. You felt so good, I couldn't get the ball down in the zone. I was up. I didn't have my. It was regular days rest. You didn't feel quite as strong. Sometimes you feel too strong.
Yeah,
and that messes with your feel a little bit, I think. But some guys are better adept at it. They tend naturally to. They got a common force about it. People handle, and it's a lot of it's a learned trait. I think you learn how to do it. But guys, I think some guys are more naturally that way.
Yeah. I equate it to this, and I had this conversation before with some athletes. If you're driving in a 4-lane highway and you're kind of by yourself, it's early in the morning, you're not driving poorly. You're just driving. If it comes down to a 1 lane and I'm on a mountaintop and I'm going around, I'm probably driving more carefully. Doesn't mean I was driving badly before. It just means you're paying a little bit extra attention now because the results could be worse. As opposed to shifting over into a lane, this is the result of going off the side of a cliff.
So losing a game in May, you mean,
doesn't
have the same impact?
No, of course not.
Like psychologically, too.
Yeah. And I talk about all the time with professional athletes that we talk about they're there where they are because of their athleticism a lot of times. But, man, that inner get yourself going is something that we can't equate to.
No, I can't relate.
I would be in the bowels of an arena and watching the guys get ready to go out on the court. And if it was the Sixers or another team, wherever we were, watching professional athletes, these basketball players, get themselves up to go out there and play, it's you could have a whole day doing that and be satisfied with, wow, look at what I just saw.
Yeah.
They don't just walk out there and play. No, there's a competitive edge and a mindset that we as non-professional athletes just probably don't have either.
I mean, that's just the way you look at it mentally too. Sometimes, you get amped up and stuff like that, but you got to be willing to let yourself succeed.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
It's to find that inner peace where you let yourself relax a little bit and let your natural ability show.
Yeah.
You're not forcing it. Sometimes when you force things, it's like holding your breath and tighten up in tension. Tension is slower. You let yourself relax, you react. And it's the same thing. It's like it's squeezing a bat in your hands. You're tight or tense a little bit. That's why you see guys have their little things they do at the plate a little bit. They're trying to relax. Some guys, you'll see them mess with their fingers, and you'll see their fingers raise off the bat. I mean, it's about the relaxing part of it. And that's what we talk about, the pitch clock now. When games kind of get out of control a little bit, like when Wheeler has that inning a little bit, he's got to get back up on the mound, and then you need that. Sometimes you might have a couple pitches where you have to take a step off the mound and gather your thoughts again. Say, this is what I got to do. I got to reinforce the positive, bring back that calmness a little bit, and less than the tension of the situation getting out of hand a little bit. That's what I don't like about the pitch clock.
As we close out today, I'm just going to go down stuff I'm getting off my feed this morning on social media on the news that Joel Embiid has the sprained LCL. He's going to be limping around, grimacing every bad play, messing with the brace nonstop, playing like poop, moping around, and shying away from all physical play. Same story every year. Jason, one of our fine listeners, I just want 1 year when he's healthy come playoff time. Can we do this? Can we count on him to be able to deliver just one playoff season healthy?
Well,
it seems to be overwhelming, and I've got like 12 sitting on my timeline here of people just saying it's the same crap every year, and not many of them not blaming him.
Yeah.
They're just saying, are you counting on a guy who can't be counted on?
Nobody wants to be hurt. I mean, Tommy's not going out on throne today, but he's pissed off that his back's wonky. My shoulder's wonky today. Like, nobody likes that stuff. Joel Embiid doesn't want to be hurt. Here's the bigger question that I think is going to be answered today or moving forward. Can he hurt it more as the series goes on? Does this thing get more stretched out? Is the brace preventing it from getting more stretched out? Where are we after this?
Would you make a few calls, Bob? For our show, please.
I'll that's the same thing. About what he said about
we're coming to an end here. Yeah,
about Harper the same way. You got to.
Are you worried about him coming back too fast, Harper? We've talked about it.
I'm all about him coming back fast. I want the doctor sign off on it. That okay, what can we do to make this safe for him playing, sliding, doing what he can? I don't want him throwing right now. I don't.
No,
personally. But for him to do what he did last year, I want him to be cleared, or they can say, oh, he's not going to injure it again or re-injure it sliding.
Right.
Like
hopefully, if there's a brace he can put on that keeps that taut, where he needs to keep that elbow from moving in that. I mean, a little bit more support. I mean, I'd be more, advocate for that if he can do that. But I mean, he's got to be right when he comes back. We cannot afford to have him go back on.
These are like two stories colliding. The Harper coming back, the Embiid, the Shea thing. It's a lot of. It just seems like we talk a lot of medical in this town.
Why can't we have nice things?
It just is. We talk a lot of medical issues.
There is,
and all the amateur. I will give it this though. There are a lot of people bitching and complaining on my timeline about Embiid. But very few are blaming him.
Yeah, it's a sucky situation. That seems
it does. It's a bad situation. It
does.
Sucks.
And it
sucks to have an injury. I mean, it does. I mean, I wish when I talk to teammates or ex-teammates or current guys or NBA guys, I say, I wish you health.
Yep.
Right.
That way you leave it on the floor.
Yep.
And that's all you could ask for.
We look forward to talking to you next week, Tommy.
You got
Hopefully the Phillies, after they play the Astros in the World Series rematch this weekend. It'll be a good weekend. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday with the Astros.
That'd be great.
That's going to be fun to watch. And you get Nola and Wheeler going in that series, so it'll be great.
That'll be a little payback a little bit. That's the way I look at it. And get the juices going again in that aspect against those guys.
Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our generous partners, Paul B. Moyer and Sons, and make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research today. Do it at 97.5thefanatic.com/AACR, because cancer research saves lives. And thanks to Paul B. Moyer and Sons for jumping in and supporting the AACR. Love having you guys aboard. We're going to have our happy hour today. Medford Lakes, the vacation spot of Medford Lakes.
Yeah, let's do it.
This afternoon. We'll be there from 4 to 6. Haley, if you leave now, you'll get there in time. We'll look forward to seeing you this afternoon.